Before you dislike this video, this is not the full movie of Parasite. This is just me reading the script or the screenplay for Parasite. This was my favorite movie from 2019, and I was so happy to see that it won 4 Academy Awards in 2019. So please subscribe, like the video, comment below if you make it all the way to the end, and let's enjoy Parasite from 2019. A title sequence over black, accompanied by dark but curiously upbeat music. At the end of the credits, the main title, in strange calligraphy, fills the screen. Parasite. A dank, semi-basement apartment. Kai Wu, 24, runs from corner to corner, desperately searching for a Wi-Fi signal. Various networks pop up, but they're all password protected. No, not you too, Iptime. Kijung. Upstairs neighbor finally locked up his Wi-Fi. Lying on the floor of a narrow room adjacent, Kijung, 23, barely moves her lips. Fuck. Try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then try it backwards. No luck. Another room, also lying on the floor, Chung Suk, 49, the mother, scoffs at their collective misery. What am I supposed to do if someone calls me? What if it's a job? Hey, Kai-tek. She kicks Kai-tek, 49, who is sleeping at her feet. I know you're awake, asshole. Care to comment? Wiping his drool. What? Our phones have been suspended for weeks, and now the neighbors have shut us out. What's your plan? She kicks him again. What are you gonna do about it? What's the plan, genius? She treats Kai-tek like shit, but it doesn't bother him. He rises with the most serene, enlightened smile, and then plods over to the living room/kitchen, where he removes a bag of white bread from the sad, empty fridge. The bread is nearly gone too. Only the ends remain. Kai-tek takes a piece and picks off the moldy parts. He chews on the bread as he watches his son's Wi-Fi dance. Son, if one seeks Wi-Fi, he raises his hands high. One must reach into the heavens. Up. Yes, father. Kai Wu raises the phone high as he heads into the bathroom. The bathroom is long and narrow and has a raised altar at the far end where the toilet sits. The odd placement is necessitated by the semi-basement's lower position in relation to the septic tank. Kai Wu walks in and climbs onto the toilet seat. He continues to fish for a signal when, Booyah! You got it? Kai Jung barges in and walks over with her phone held up. You see it? Coffee Nara 2G. I guess it's a new coffee joint. Must be nearby. I'm not getting shit. Come up closer. Kai Jung climbs onto the altar and squeezes next to Kai Wu. The siblings look ridiculous, head touching the ceiling, huddled on top of the toilet seat. Chung Suk pops in. No text from Pizza Time? 2,000 more boxes and it's payday. The family sits among piles of unassembled pizza boxes and folds them in silence. The crunch of cardboard is the only sound as the cheap Pizza Time logo comes in and goes out of the foreground. They hear a truck rattling closer. Through the window, they see a street fumigation truck spewing gas as it passes by. The fog rolls closer to the window. To Kai Wu. Close the window. Leave it. Free fumigation. Get rid of the damn crickets. Kai Wu, who was about to close the window, sits back down. The fog quickly envelops the family as they continue to fold. It's rather poignant. A family braving through tear-inducing fumes just to make a meager living. Shit! I told you to close it! Fuck me. Kai-tek continues folding despite his red bulging face. He desperately holds back his cough. Kai Wu goes to the bathroom and moments later, with his phone, he shows his family a GIF he downloaded. Watch, if we all fold like this girl, we might even get paid today. The GIF shows the world's fastest pizza box folder, a white girl with dazzling box folding skills. She's fast. The family watches in awe. Inspired by the clip, they start folding with renewed vigor. Kai-Tak also picks up speed, but he lacks the dexterity of the others. He's getting more and more sloppy. Through the half-open door, we see the female pizza shop owner standing outside the entrance. Quirky appearance. Pizza time t-shirt. Look at this, for example. This shitty folding job right here. The owner shows Chung-Suk a botched corner. 1 out of 4. 1/4 of the boxes are unusable. 1 out of 4? The family all look at Kai-Tak. He just smiles, innocent as ever. Still, you can't cut 10% from my pay. That's too much. Kai-Woo helps a man load boxes into a van. Kai-Tak looks out from the apartment window, watching Chung-Suk squabble with the pizza shop owner. I should pay even less considering the number of botched boxes. We were barely making anything to begin with. Look, it's not that simple. Each ruined box exponentially tarnishes our brand's image. Your brand? You only have 2 stores in Seoul. Fuck this. What did you say? Kai-Woo quickly steps in, diffusing the situation with an easy smile. It's that kid, isn't it? What are you talking about? The part-timer at your shop. He went MIA, didn't he? During such a crucial time, too. You have a large group order from the Love of Christ Church. That's why you and your husband are out here working your bottoms off. How do you know that? Who told you? That kid, he's my friend. Totally unreliable. Not so stellar reputation. I understand you're upset. 10%? Fine, we accept. That's completely within your authority. However what? Would you consider hiring a new employee? Fire the loser who bailed on you. The owner just stares at the smiling siblings. What the hell are these people? I can come in for an interview tomorrow. What would be a good time for you? Wait, hold on. I need to think about this. The owner senses a trap and tries to get out of it. She takes out a few bills from her fanny pack and starts counting one by one. The family all stare. It's been a while since they've seen money. It's now early evening in the semi-basement. The master bedroom next to the entrance. Wall adorned with pictures of a young Chung-Suk competing at the National Track and Field Championships as a student athlete. A shot putter. Great upper body. Glimpses through tight uniform. No pictures of Kai-Tak. Early evening. It's darker. The 4 family members are gathered around a table filled with various store-bought foods. What a special occasion. The 4 of us gathered here to celebrate the partial reactivation of our phones, as well as our son's upcoming job interview with a national franchise. Kai-Tak tries to deliver a heartfelt speech like a TV patriarch, but severely lacks the gravitas. Chung-Suk and Ki-jung are already drinking their beers. Cheers! To family. Cheers! Out the window. That son of a bitch, it's not even dark yet! The family turns to see a drunk man teetering toward the basement window. Their faces slowly fill with dread. How many times did I tell you? We need to put up a no urinating sign. It'll make them want to do it even more. It's psychology. To Kai-Woo. Go yell at him or something. It's not the right timing. The drunk man hasn't unzipped his pants. He's still hovering uncertainly in the dark corner. I need to catch him in the act. Isn't it fucking obvious? Just kick him out. To herself. I hate this place. Kai-Woo gets up, still unsure, when, Hey, mister! A voice booms from afar. Behind the drunk man, we see a handsome, well-built young man climbing off a fancy scooter. This is Min-yuk, 24. He walks over with a large box in his hands. Is that Min-yuk? It is. Kai-Woo is surprised to see Min-yuk, who continues to yell at the would-be public urinator. What do you think you're doing? You think this is a public toilet? What are you looking at? Cowed by Min-yuk's presence, the drunk man quickly skedaddles away. Kai-Tak taps Kai-Woo on the shoulder. Your friend has mucho cojones. It's that college student glow. Look at that confidence. Which Kai-Woo obviously doesn't have. A smitten Ki-jung admires Min-yuk as he walks over to the apartment. He enters. How are you, Mr. and Mrs. Kim? Good to see you, son. Minhyuk. What's with the surprise appearance? I texted you. Hey, Kijung. Kijung smiles shyly as she nods. Kai-woo searches through his text messages. We could have met somewhere else. You didn't have to come all this way. I brought this. Minhyuk shows Kai-woo the box. It's heavy, so I had to bring it on my bike. What's this? Kai-jung lifts the flap to see a uniquely shaped stone and a wooden display stand inside. To Kai-tek. When I told my grandfather I was going to see Kai-woo, he gave me this. Whoa. Kai-tek picks up the large stone. This is a precious viewing stone. Is this an abstract specimen? You know your stones, Mr. Kim. Pop-Pop's been collecting viewing stones since his academy days. Our house is literally filled with these things. Living room, study, basement. This one is supposed to bring luck and money. How perfect for us. Symbolic. Yes, how serendipitous. Please send him our sincere regards. He should have brought food. Kijung stabs Chung-suk with her finger. Fortunately, Minhyuk didn't hear. As a beaming Kai-tek continues to show off useless stone trivia, Minhyuk and Kai-woo sit at a portable table outside the store, drinking soju and chasing it with chips. Minhyuk's expensive foreigner scooter is parked behind him. It visually clashes with the old grocery store and rundown alley. I had to bring that stupid rock, but it was nice to see her folks. They look good. They're not as good as they look. They're all jobless. Kai-jung's at home too? She doesn't take college prep classes? It's not that she doesn't want to. She can't. Kai-woo downs a shot of soju. Minhyuk looks at Kai-woo. He has something to say. He takes out his phone and shows Kai-woo a picture of a brightly smiling teenage girl. High school uniform. Innocent. Cute, right? Is that her, the girl you're tutoring? Minhyuk nods. Park Dahe, a sophomore. I want you to tutor her. Take over for me as her English teacher. That makes no sense. Her family is loaded. The gig pays really well. That gets Kai-woo's attention. He looks at the picture again. She's a good kid. I want you to look after her until I come back from the study abroad program. You have plenty of friends at school. Why do you want a high school grad to teach your prized student? Why do you think? I shudder just thinking about those female-starved engineering students drooling around her like hungry wolves. It's revolting. Kai-woo studies Minhyuk. You like her, don't you? I'm serious about her. I'm going to ask her out in 2 years once she's in college. I want you to take care of her while I'm gone. I trust you. I appreciate the trust, but you want me to pretend I'm a college student? Kai-woo, think about it. How many times have you taken the college entrance exam? Twice before your military service and twice after. A grand total of 4 times. Grammar, vocabulary, composition, speaking. You're an English master. Far more qualified as a tutor than I am. Better than those spoiled college brats who drown their brain cells in booze every day. That may be true, but you think the family would accept me? I'm not even a college student. We'll embellish a little. You'll be fine. You'll have my recommendation. And the mother is a bit... Minhyuk picks up his glass to drink when he suddenly becomes thoughtful. He smiles. She's simple. Young and simple. Simple? What do you mean? I don't know. Just simple. Minhyuk and Kai-woo start conversing in English for no reason. They're fluent. I hear Kijung is handy with Photoshop. We cut to an internet cafe, day. Kijung is working at the computer, clicking the mouse, and tapping various keyboard shortcuts with dizzying speed. She's like a magician. On the monitor is a document. Certificate of Enrollment. With laser focus, Kijung refines the edges of the red certification seal. This is amazing. How come you keep failing the art school exam? Shut up, dickwad. The siblings work discreetly in the corner of a large internet cafe. Take your time. Looking around. We should hold off on printing until the place clears out. Kai-tek is on the floor laying his head on the viewing stone. He admires the freshly printed enrollment certificate. Look at this. There should be a major for document forgery at Seoul National University. Kijung would be top of the class. Shut up and wish the boy good luck for his interview. My son. Kai-tek sits up. I'm so proud of you. A slightly awkward and embarrassing moment. They all know Kai-Wu did nothing to be proud of. Kai-Wu finishes touching up his hair in front of the mirror. He picks up the fake certificate. I don't consider this a crime. No, because I plan on going to this school next year. That's my son. Man with a plan. I'm just using some of their administrative services in advance. We cut to a quiet road snaking up the hill of a wealthy neighborhood. High walls, not a pedestrian in sight, except Kai-Wu, who consults the map on his phone as he walks up the hill, backpack strapped. He looks around, walks faster. Kai-Wu stands in front of the gate, which is at the top of a steep stairway. He waits through the melodic doorbell until a voice finally answers. The voice is middle-aged, female. Who is it? Mrs. Park? Hi, I'm Minhyuk's friend. Oh, hello, please come in. Clank. The gate is unlocked, and Kai-Wu walks into a gorgeously manicured garden lined with majestic trees. Kai-Wu stops midway and admires the trees, overcome with awe. Quite a view, isn't it? Mrs. Park, pleased to meet you. Oh, no, I'm the housekeeper. Please, follow me. Moon Kwang, 45, fashionable and poised enough to be mistaken for the owner, leads Kai-Wu inside. Stunning garden. The inside is even more stunning. Kai-Wu carefully follows Moon Kwang inside. Indeed, the interior is stunning, but not excessive. The furniture and decorations are all tasteful. Do you know Namgung Hyunga, the famous Korean-French architect? Kai-Wu is blank. This used to be his house. He built it. Ah, I see. Now it's just Da-hei's house. Moon Kwang stops just short of the fabulous living room overlooking the garden, arriving at the equally fabulous and spacious kitchen/dining room. She seats Kai-Wu at the large wooden table. Please wait here. I'll get Mrs. Park. Moon Kwang exits, and Kai-Wu is left alone in silence. He quietly gets up and looks around. There's some kind of avant-garde art hanging on the wall. Next to it, he sees a typical Korean family portrait taken at a studio. Kai-Wu walks over to the window, which overlooks the backyard. He sees a woman dozing off at the patio table. English magazine open on the table. Head tilted comically. Only her soft white neck is visible. This is Yeon Kyo, 41. Moon Kwang walks over and claps her hand loudly next to Yeon Kwo's ears. Yeon Kwo sucks her drool in and slowly raises her head. We hear their muffled voices through the window. The tutor is here. What do you think of him? I don't know, but he's handsome. Yeon Kwo sits with Kai-Wu at the dining table. She pulls out the fake certificate halfway, glimpses at it, then puts it back in. Kai-Wu is nervous. Even the dog, cradled in Yeon Kwo's arms, is watching him, panting, disapproving. I don't care about your papers. I only wanted to see you because you were recommended by Min-hyuk. I guess you two are good friends? Kai-Wu listens quietly. I'm sure you know better than I do, but Min-hyuk is just the most brilliant human being. I don't even care about the grades. Da-hei and I absolutely adore him. Do you know what I mean? Of course. We just loved him so much. I wanted him to stay with Da-hei through her college exams next year, but now he's leaving to study abroad, and I'm suddenly left without a tutor. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Kai-Wu listens respectfully. Excuse my bluntness, but I just don't see the point of hiring someone unless he's utterly outstanding as Min-hyuk, you know? Moon Kwang sneaks a glance at Kai-Wu as she brings coffee over to the table, checking him out. Clink. She sets it down loudly in front of Kai-Wu. I guess what I wanted to ask was, would it be okay if I sat in for today's class? I want to see the whole thing, judge for myself. I would like to see your methods. Is that okay with you? Yeon Kyo suddenly blurts out a question in English. Her English is terrible. Kai-Wu follows Yeon Kyo up the large, oppressive staircase, trying his best not to look at her conspicuously swaying hips. He arrives on the second floor, where he sees a long hallway with several doors on each side. Dahei's room is a large, pretty one. Yeon Kyo and her dog are sitting on the bed watching Kai-woo. The attention doesn't bother Kai-woo, who is calmly focused on Dahei as she works through a practice test. Are you sure about question 14? Hesitant. Is it wrong? I'm asking you. What does your gut say? Do you think number 14 is right? Dahei shrinks. You were working on the other question before you came back to 14, am I right? Yes. Kai-woo suddenly snatches Dahei's wrist, shocking both Dahei and her mom. He pressed his thumb gently and feels her pulse like a doctor. If this was a real test, and number 14 was a real question, you would have been in trouble from the start. He presses harder. See? Your pulse is irregular. Your heart doesn't lie. Dahei turns bright red. Yeon Kyo is speechless, either appalled or in awe. What are you supposed to do in a test? You move forward. You need to seize the flow, the rhythm. If not, you're screwed. I don't care about question number 14. I only care about how you seize the flow. How do you conquer the test as a whole? You get it? Dahei is quiet. A test is all about confidence. In English, he says, attitude. Stunned silence. Kai-woo finally lets go of Dahei's wrist, revealing a round pink spot where he held her. Kai-woo looks over at Yeon Kyo. She's completely floored. I know, you were angry, frustrated. You worked so hard, studied until your nose bled, but your test scores weren't improving. You keep asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? That triggers something in Dahei. Emotions swell, and her pupils tremble. I'm here to prepare you for the real thing. I'm not here to help you learn. I'm here to help you score. Close on a thick money envelope being handed to Kai-woo. I'll pay you each month on this day. As for the lesson, I was thinking 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That sounds good. It's a little more than what Min-hyuk used to get. Cost of living and so forth. Thank you. As Kai-woo puts away the envelope, Moon Kwang brings over a fruit plate. She's noticeably friendlier than before. I guess it's time to get to know each other. Mr. Kevin will be Dahei's English teacher. Of course, Mr. Kevin. You let me know if you need anything at all, during your lessons, snacks, drinks, whatever. I appreciate it. Feel free to pester her if you need anything in this house. She's the expert. She knows it better than I do. They continue exchanging pleasantries when, thunk, a plastic arrow flies in and hits Moon Kwang's shoulder. When Kai-woo looks over, it's a boy in a Native American costume about to shoot another arrow. This is Da-song, 10, the youngest Park. Da-song, behave yourself. We have a guest. Da-song doesn't care. He continues shooting. Moon Kwang is used to the antics. She picks up the arrow and rubs it in her armpit. She does a silly laugh. Armpit attack! No, it stinks! Da-song plucks a toy axe from his belt and starts running in slow motion towards Moon Kwang. He screams like a warrior. Moon Kwang does the same, flailing in fake slow motion. They make quite a pair. Yeon Kyo. I apologize. Our son is a little unique. Unique is good. He has trouble focusing. ADHD. We signed him up for the Cub Scouts, hoping the discipline would help, but he's become an even bigger weirdo. Now he's obsessed with Indians. Kai-woo laughs. The Scouts have roots in American Indian culture, so he has the right idea. You were a scout too? Yes, I learned a lot as a scout. Look how fine you turned out. What's wrong with him? He's actually an art prodigy, you know. Did you see the drawings? She points to the pictures on the wall. Those are his. Kai-woo turns towards the avant-garde drawings on the wall. He gazes for a long moment. A lot of symbolism. Such strong point of view. Right? Strong. I knew you would get it, Mr. Kevin. Kai-woo takes a couple of steps back and admires the drawings with a serious face. I see. It's an interpretation of a chimpanzee. It's a self-portrait. Awkward. Crickets chirp as Da-song and Moon Kwang continue to battle it out in the backyard. Of course, us grown-ups are too jaded to see true genius. That must be why. We've gone through dozens of art teachers. They never last more than a month. Of course, Da Song is a bit too much to handle. Kai-Woo nods. Yeon-kyo has come to see him out with the dog in her arms. The gate opens. Kai-Woo begins to step out when he stops. Actually, Mrs. Park. Yes? Someone just happened to come to my mind. Her name is... Through Yeon-kyo's POV, we see the back of Kai-Woo's head as he seemingly tries to remember. Girls' Generation, the girl group, what was her name? The one who started the jewelry brand. Jessica? Right, Jessica. My cousin has a school friend named Jessica. I don't know her Korean name. She studied applied arts at Illinois State and recently moved back to Korea. Ah, Illinois State. What about her? She also tutors, and she's known to have a very unique approach to teaching art. Most of all, she knows how to handle kids. Interested. Is that so? She's a bit of celebrity in tutoring circles. Her style is a little unorthodox, but it still gets the kids into good art schools. She sounds fantastic. I'm so curious. Would you be interested in meeting her? She's very busy, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get an appointment. We cut to the interior of a hair salon during the day. Jessica? Why Jessica? That's so tacky. Ki-jung is getting her hair done at the neighborhood shop. Kai-Woo is sucking on a popsicle on the sofa behind her. It has a nice ring. Anyhow, she's a nice lady, young, not the brightest tool in the shed. The money is good, and most of all, she's a believer. She's religious? Track back to reveal. Chung-suk and Kai-tek sitting next to Ki-jung, also getting their hair trimmed. No, it's just, she tends to trust people rather easily. They become thoughtful. Kai-tek breaks the silence. She sounds like a great lady. Right? Yeah. The family members all nod. A strange excitement appears on their faces. Now in front of the mansion. Kai-Woo and Ki-jung both take a deep breath in front of the gate. Ki-jung looks like a completely new person with a short, stylish hair and makeup. Kai-Woo is about to ring the doorbell when Ki-jung stops him. She suddenly starts clapping a beat with her hands, singing. Jessica, only child, Chicago, Illinois. My classmate Jun Mo is the cousin of Kevin. She sings her bio to the tune of a catchy Korean oldie. Kai-Woo joins. Silly. Ridiculous. But you can sense a real sibling bond. Finally, Kai-Woo presses the button, and the doorbell rings throughout the quiet neighborhood. We find Da Song at the bottom of the stairs peeking inside the kitchen where Yeon-kyo is interviewing Ki-jung. They talk quietly, formal, serious. Kai-Woo sits a few feet away. Da-hae tiptoes down from the second floor and sees Da Song peeking. She flicks his forehead and sends him upstairs. She then looks inside the kitchen herself. She focuses on Ki-jung, scrutinizing, suspicious. I should go upstairs for my lesson. I'll let you two talk. To Ki-jung. Jessica, nice meeting you. Kai-Woo gets up and nods to Ki-jung. I'll see you next time. Ki-jung also stands up cordial. Thank you, Kevin. Da-hae sees Kai-Woo coming and runs back up the stairs. Da-hae hurries back to her desk and pretends to work on her problems. The door opens and Kai-Woo enters. He sits next to Da-hae. Where did we leave off? Number 17? You know... What is it? You know it's all an act, right? My brother? What are you talking about? It's all fake. Acting like a bizarro? Like he's a crazed artist? He's a big fraud. Da Song? You know, like he would stop in the middle of the street and pretend he was struck by sudden inspiration. Kai-Woo laughs. Randomly stare up at the clouds and ponder the shapes, something like that. Exactly, he's the worst, and he acts like he can't behave normal, like he's completely perplexed. It makes me want to puke. So, Da Song is a fraud. What does that have to do with your English problems? Da-hei pouts when Kai-Wu suddenly returns to tutor mode. I'm just saying. Good. Now those were all great descriptions of Da-song. Why don't we use them to compose a paragraph in English? You must use the word pretend at least twice. Kai-Wu, master tutor, skillfully guides the conversation back to the lesson. But Da-hei still has something on her mind. She puts down the pen. Can I ask you something? What now? The teacher downstairs, Mrs. Jessica, is she really your cousin's friend? This catches Kai-Wu off guard. He disguises it with a smile. I don't know what you're talking about. She's your girlfriend, isn't she? Kai-Wu relaxes and laughs. He looks at Da-hei, who is all worried and serious. She's cute. Come on. I just met her today. She's very pretty. Not even interested? She is pretty. A beauty, even. I knew it. You are interested. If you were a perfect 10, maybe she would be a 6. 6.5? A cheesy line, but Da-hei smiles, pleased. Suddenly she grabs Kai-Wu's wrist under the desk. She presses it gently, feeling his pulse. A bold, unexpected move on her part. Kai-Wu stares quietly at Da-hei. Slowly they grow closer. Lips converge. A soft, gentle kiss held through silence until they hear footsteps coming up the stairs. Let's study. Right. Yeon-kyo and Ki-jung pass Da-hei's room and walk towards Da-song's. Yeon-kyo turns to Ki-jung, nervous. I should tell you, he's not good at staying in one place. I hope you understand. It's fine. Ki-jung has no expression. Nothing phases her. Yeon-kyo hesitates before finally opening the door to reveal Da-song's room. A huge clutter, covered with Da-song's drawings, as well as pictures of Native American tribesmen, all kinds of Indian-themed toys, a teepee tent imported from America. Da-song is lying on the floor, with a toy arrow tucked between his legs, staring at the ceiling in his own world. This also may be an act. Would you mind leaving? Excuse me? I don't allow parents to sit in during lessons. Yeon-kyo is surprised. She continues to linger, but Ki-jung's stare is unwavering. I just thought since it's the first day, as you can see, the boy is a bit... You should wait downstairs. Yeon-kyo finally backs down, subdued by Ki-jung's authority. She walks out of the room. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Yeon-kyo and Moon-kwang nibble on nuts as they pass the time in the kitchen. The dog licks Yeon-kyo's face, which is full of agony, worry, curiosity. Moon-kwang sees Yeon-kyo's state. Would you like some plum extract? I can add some honey. It'll help you relax. What? Sure. Moon-kwang walks down a narrow set of stairs to the storage basement, stocked with all kinds of foods, beverages, and other household necessities. On one side is a cabinet filled with numerous glass jars, hand-extracted plum, tangerine, and fig concentrates. Moon-kwang picks up the plum bottle and twists the tightly locked lid when Yeon-kyo hurtles down the stairs. I have an idea. This is what we'll do. What? You'll take 2 plum juices to Da-song's room. You're not a parent, so you can go in. You'll just be delivering the drinks. You're right. I'll take a quick peek and let you know how they're doing. Damn it. Why didn't I think of this before? Moments later, Moon-kwang and Yeon-kyo hurry back up the steps with a cup of plum extract. They are startled to see Ki-jung and Da-song waiting in the kitchen, already done with their lesson. Yeon-kyo tries to hide her surprise. You guys are done? Ki-jung is holding a picture drawn by Da-song. Da-song is standing politely behind her. Mrs. Park, will you please have a seat? Yeon-kyo. Sure. Da-song, you go up. Yeon-kyo and Moon-kwang are stunned to see Da-song obediently bowing and heading up the stairs. What? Kijung hands Yeonkyo the drawing. Dasong drew this today. Yeonkyo is scared. She has no idea what's going on. Kijung clocks Moonkwang peeking over Yeonkyo's shoulders. I'd like to speak to you alone. Oh, this is... Can you please just give us a moment? Yeonkyo's voice falters at Kijung's ice-cold demeanor. Moonkwang stares hard at Kijung before walking away. I mentioned earlier that I'm also studying art therapy. Yes, I remember. Did something happen to Dasong when he was in first grade? Yeonkyo yelps loudly. She quickly covers her mouth. Her hands start shaking. I feel a bit cautious about bringing this up. It's the first day after all, but I'll need to know what happened to Dasong in order to truly understand him. When he was in first grade, tearfully, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can talk about this right now. It's fine. We can talk about it later. Kijung puts a finger on the drawing. Here. This lower section is called the schizophrenia zone in psychology. It contains clues about the mental state of the child. Do you see this particular shape drawn here? Yes, I do. Yeonkyo suddenly looks up from the drawing and stares at the large framed picture on the wall. My gosh, it's in the other drawing too, same spot. Kijung looks at the picture. Yes, same spot, same pattern. Yeonkyo nods fervently. She sobs harder. She feels like a horrible mother. I see that picture every day. Every time I eat. I had no idea. You don't have to beat yourself up. These drawings are records of Dasong's emotions, a black box of his soul. I'd like to try and unlock that box, but I'll need time. Of course, please take as much time as you need. I can wait. I suggest 4 2-hour sessions a week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. This is different from regular tutoring. It's art therapy, so I would need to be compensated at a higher rate. Of course, I understand. Kijung continues her performance as multi-certified art teacher and therapist, Jessica, when we hear a car pull into the garage. Moments later, Dong-ik Park, 45, Yeonkyo's husband and Dasong's father, emerges from the stairs next to the front entrance. We notice the automated motion sensor lights blinking above the main entrance as Dong-ik walks in. Yoon, 31, the driver, follows up with Dong-ik's things. Oh! Yeonkyo wipes her tears. Dong-ik, say hi to Miss Jessica, Dasong's new art teacher. She just started today. To Jessica in English. Jessica, this is Dong-ik. Hello. Dong-ik looks tired, but even the fatigue adds to his mystique and cool as a high-flying CEO. He shares a brief handshake with Kijung. Thank you for helping Dasong. Are they done for the day? Yes, just finished. To Yoon. Sorry, Yoon, but are you busy tonight? Would you mind taking Miss Jessica home? I don't want her walking down the hill alone at night. Kijung sits quietly in the back. She looks quite natural in the back seat of the swanky Mercedes. Yoon sneaks glances at Kijung through the rearview mirror. Where do you live, Miss Jessica? I might as well just drive you home. It's fine. Just drop me off at the Hue station. Thank you. Kijung's cold demeanor intrigues Yoon instead of putting him off. He's attracted. He tries again. Doesn't matter if it's far. I'm done for the day. I'll get off at Hue. Yoon looks out the window. It looks like it's about to rain. I bet the Mercedes is way better than the subway. Kijung cuts him off. No, I'm supposed to meet my boyfriend at the station. I see. Yoon's smile disappears. He quietly turns the steering wheel. Kijung stares at the back of Yoon's head, thinking. Then, she slowly reaches under her skirt and starts rolling down her underwear. Her eyes twinkle in the dark as she holds the removed underwear in her hands. We cut to a buffet restaurant during the day. Kijung and Kai-tek. Did you drive Benzes when you were a designated driver? Not when I was at the designated driver service. I drove a lot of them when I was a valet. When you were a valet? After the fried chicken and before the Taiwanese Castella. About 6 months, I'd say. Nah, it was after the Castella shop went bust. Kai-tek and family stack food onto their already mountainous plates as they move along the buffet line. They're at a large budget restaurant, frequented by bus and taxi drivers. Kai-tek makes sure no one is listening before, "We're already starting phase 3? I planted a little trap in the Mercedes. We'll see if he bites." Then it's begun. "Father, how amazing is this? We just so happen to be eating at a buffet for drivers. How symbolic." Kai-tek doesn't get it, but beams anyway. "This place is amazing. You guys eat as much as you want. You're not even buying, you big bum. We are." Kai-tek is still happy. He's grown immune to Chung Suk's insults. "Here." He puts some meat on Kai-woo's plate. "Have some of this, son." "Thanks, Dad." To Kijung. "By the way, what did you say to Mrs. Park yesterday?" "Why?" "She was over the moon about you, saying you were a godsend, a freaking miracle FedExed from heaven." "Huh. I just Googled art therapy and did a little improv and she lost her shit. Started crying like a baby. Can't believe how gullible she is." Dong-ik is going through some papers in the back when one drops under the seat. As he reaches down to grab it, he sees a vague white shape beneath the passenger seat. He picks it up. A pair of women's underwear. Kijung's. Dong-ik looks disgusted. He stares hard at the back of Yun's head before putting the underwear in his pocket. Dong-ik rushes up the garage stairs. He passes the blinking motion sensor lights and stomps towards the kitchen. "What's wrong? Something happened?" Dong-ik checks to see if the kids are around. "It's Yun, that son of a bitch. I found this under the car seat." Dong-ik pulls out the panties from his pocket. Yeon-kyo gasps, shocked, perhaps more outraged than necessary. "You pay him well, don't you? He doesn't have money to go to a hotel? Is he saving that money for something? Maybe he's a sexual deviant. He might get off doing it in his boss's car." Yeon-kyo sees Dong-ik is in no mood. "I'm sorry, babe. I had no idea he was such a perv. I don't care who he is or what he screws. That's his business. I get it, he's a young guy. But why does he have to do it in my car? And why in the back seat? That's my space. Is he trying to mark his territory with his dirty cum stains? Son of a bitch crossed the line." Yeon-kyo doesn't know what to do. Her husband rarely gets this upset. Dong-ik calms down and looks at the underwear. "You know what's even weirder?" "What?" "Don't you see it? Think about it." Yeon-kyo is freaked out of her mind. So they have sex in the car. It's not unusual to leave behind a few strands of hair, maybe an earring. But how do you forget your underwear? "It's true. You don't just forget to put on your knickers. That's why I'm more concerned by his partner. Her mental state. You know what I mean?" Dong-ik checks the surroundings before whispering something in Yeon-kyo's ear. "No." She turns pale. "Like methamphetamine? Cocaine?" "Shh. What do we do? If they find some kind of white powder in your car, we're all doomed." "Calm down, babe. Relax. We don't want to go too far. Not yet. For now, it's just a suspicion. A well-founded one." As the Parks continue to fret over the panties, camera booms up to reveal Kijung standing on the stairs with her bag, listening to the conversation. "We can't even take something like this to the police, and it would look ridiculous if I tried to interrogate him. What would I say? 'Yun, did you have sexual intercourse in my car?' That's why I was thinking—" "Yes, dear?" "You have to take care of this. Come up with some kind of bland, harmless reason. Let him go quietly. Don't even mention the panties, or the intercourse." "I understand. We don't want the neighbors' birds gossiping about the Parker's driver sexing up the boss's car." Exactly. Our names will forever be linked with this disgusting behavior. Yan Kyo nods and then thinks. You don't think Yoon would post something online, do you? Go on a Twitter vendetta? He could announce to the whole world that he was unfairly fired by a famous tech CEO. We'll pay him severance, enough to keep him quiet. Just choose your words carefully when you let him go. Then we'll be fine. Just then, Ki-jung starts walking down the stairs, stepping so loudly that the Parks can hear. Yan Kyo leaps out of her seat. Dong-ik quickly hides the underwear and puts on an awkward smile. You guys done? How was Da Song today? Yan Kyo and Ki-jung walk towards the gate. Yan Kyo sidles up to Ki-jung, acting friendlier than usual. Miss Jessica, I wanted to ask, the other night when Yoon took you home... Yes? This may sound weird, but did anything happen that night? No, I went straight home. Good. That's good to hear. Such a nice man. I asked him to drop me off at Hoei Station, but he kept insisting that he would take me home. She raised her voice. So the bastard went to your house at night? He knows where you live? No. I just got off at Hoei. She sighs. Thank God, you did the right thing. Nice, Jessica. Did something happen to him? Yan Kyo opens the gate. He won't be working for us anymore. There was a bit of an incident. You don't need to know the details. That's too bad. He seemed like a nice man. You're so precious, Miss Jessica, so innocent. You still have a lot to learn about this world. Ki-jung stifles her laughter as she walks down the steps. She sees Moon Kwang walking back home with the Park's 3 dogs in the distance. Yan Kyo waves at them. Yan Kyo sighs. We used to like him too. We were excited to have a driver who was young and hip. I thought most people preferred older drivers. Yes, it's true. Older drivers tend to drive more carefully. They're more sophisticated. My uncle had a driver who was like that. Mr. Kim, a real gentleman. Such a kind man. We used to follow him like an uncle. Really? Yes, he was such a warm and kind-hearted person. Unfortunately, my uncle was transferred to Chicago and had to let Mr. Kim go. I don't know what he's doing these days. I'm very interested in this person, Miss Jessica. Do you think I could meet him? As you can see, it's becoming harder and harder to trust people. I won't hire anyone unless they're recommended by people I absolutely positively trust. I just have a feeling he could be a great candidate, since you grew up with him and all. Moon Kwang walks within earshot and hears the conversation. Her curiosity is piqued. The dogs wag their tails and swarm Yan Kyo. Would you like to meet him? In English, are you serious? I'm deadly serious. I think this is the best way to hire people. Through people I trust. It's like, what should I call it? Yan Kyo makes a peculiar hand gesture. Belt of Trust. As the scene's theme music, titled The Belt of Trust, begins to play, we cut to the inside of a Mercedes. Kai-tek is in the driver's seat. We don't know whose car this is or where we are. He tries buckling the seatbelt, presses various buttons on the instrument panel. Kai-woo's in the back seat, telling his father to try this and that. When some people approach, the pair hop out of the car and move into another one, revealing that we are inside a large Mercedes dealership in the middle of Gangnam. Kai-tek and Kai-woo continue to explore brand new Benzes, sharing quality father and son time. An office overlooking Seoul's soaring skyscrapers. Dong-ik is in a meeting with his HODs. He suddenly looks up at the other side of a glass wall, where Kai-tek is sitting in a chair, waiting patiently to be seen, mouthing, Sorry, I'll be right with you. Don't worry, sir, he gestures back. Take your time. Inside of Dong-ik's car. This isn't a test or anything, so you don't have to be nervous. I just wanted to get out of the office. I was dying in there. Kai-tek is in the driver's seat. I understand. You're surrounded by people all day. I'm sure you want some peace in the car. Kai-tek turns off the car's navigation. Thank you. You must know your way around the city. Every highway, road, and alley south of the DMZ. When you do this for 30 years, it becomes second nature. I admire people who work in one profession their entire lives. It's a simple job, really, but I take pride in it. Every morning I go on a journey with a father, a CEO, or just a solitary man walking through life. It's sort of a companionship. Ah, that's how I've treated my job for the past 30 years. How time flies. The words drip with cheese, but somehow they seem heartfelt when Kaitek says it with his humble stammer. As the music crests towards a climax, Kaitek turns the wheel, making a smooth left turn. Exquisite corner work. I can feel your experience. As music continues, slow motion of Kijang gracefully, rhythmically walking down the stairs. She finds Moon Kwang dozing off at the dining table, lightly snoring, dogs circling her feet. Kijang stares for a long moment as she walks past the dining room. She slaps the wall loudly, shocking Moon Kwang out of her daydream. Moon Kwang acts like she wasn't sleeping. She's an old fox. She acts like she's Mrs. Park's sister. Moon Kwang leaves a plate of fruits for Kai Wu and Da Hei. Kai Wu stares at her intently as she walks out. She's been in the house the longest, longer than the family. She used to work for the previous owner, the architect Nam Gong Hyunja, who recommended her to the Parks when he moved to France. Told them she takes great care of the house and so on. So she survived an ownership change. It's a maid job. Of course, she won't just let go. If we want to extract her, we'll need to do some prep work. That's right, we need a plan. Chung Suk, Kai Wu, and Kijung are sitting at the corner table. We notice the tacky Pizza Time logo everywhere. The pizza shop owner from Scene 4 begrudgingly brings a combination pizza over to the table. She hates that she has to serve these losers. Hey, how about some more hot sauce here? The owner picks up a hot sauce from the other table and drops it in front of Chung Suk. Chung Suk mouths bitch as the owner walks away. Kai Wu studies the hot sauce. He picks it up and squirts 2 drops on a blank napkin, as if testing something. There's something that Da Hei told me. I'm so sick of apples. I want peaches. Then why don't you ask for them? Da Hei is griping about a fruit plate Moon Kwang brought. She picks up an apple slice and lovingly feeds it to Kai Wu. We can't have peaches. It's a forbidden fruit in our house. The neighborhood store. Kijung picks up a peach from the fruit section. She holds it in the sunlight and carefully examines the soft fuzz surrounding it. The housekeeper has a severe peach allergy. If she even goes near a peach, she'll turn red and start hyperventilating. Full-on asthma attack. Does everything but kill her. Using a sharp razor, Kai Wu meticulously shaves off the fuzz around the peach. He deposits the fuzz in a transparent pen cap. Haunting, nerve-scraping music plays underneath. Kai Wu walks out of the house after another lesson. He bows to Moon Kwang, who is in the yard, handing out treats to the dogs. Kai Wu takes out his pen as he passes Moon Kwang. He opens the cap and gently pours peach fuzz over her shoulders. Kai Wu has just walked out of the gate when she hears a violent coughing from inside. It's Moon Kwang. He casually walks down the hill as the coughing echoes throughout the neighborhood, creating a discordant harmony with the music. Moon Kwang is on the bench talking on her phone, still covered in red spots. She's unaware that Kaitek is watching her from several feet away. He takes out his phone and snaps a selfie, making sure to include Moon Kwang in the background. Into her phone. It was the worst one I've ever had. I was sure I was going to die. No, I'm telling you. No peaches for miles. That's what I'm saying. It's driving me nuts. Yan Kyo carries a bunch of shopping bags out of the department store. Kaitek is waiting at the Mercedes. He opens the trunk and puts Yan Kyo's bags in. When he's done, he continues to linger. He hesitates before taking out his phone. Mrs. Park, I I didn't know if this was worth mentioning, but I wanted to make sure. He shows Yeon-kyo a photo on his phone. This person behind me, is that... What? Hey, that's Moon Kwang! So it was her. I didn't quite remember her face. I've only seen her a couple times when I went up to the house. Where is this from? Is this the hospital? Yes. I was at the hospital the other day for my annual checkup. I was taking a selfie to send to my wife when I saw her behind me. Yeon-kyo looks carefully at the picture. Looks like she's talking on the phone. Yes, see, I didn't mean to, but I ended up overhearing... Kai-tek and Kai-woo are in the semi-basement living room of their apartment. Stammering. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I happened to be right there and, unfortunately, overheard everything. Cut. Stop right there. Dad, you're overdoing it. The worrying thing. Tone it down. I can tell you're acting. Kai-tek rehearses his scene, holding a piece of paper with his lines. Action! Back in the Mercedes with Yeon-kyo and Kai-tek. I really didn't mean to. I was right there. I just happened to overhear. What did you hear? Kai-tek looks at Yeon-kyo through the rearview mirror. He takes a hesitant beat before opening his mouth. I don't know if I should say. Kai-woo acts. I heard her say that she was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Back in the Mercedes. Tuberculosis? Are you sure? What was it? Active pulmonary tuberculosis? She was talking on the phone and she seemed very upset, like she was angry at herself. Kai-woo in the basement. I didn't even know tuberculosis was a thing. In the Mercedes. I didn't even know tuberculosis was still a thing. Neither did I. I remember years ago we used to buy those seals for Christmas, but you should look it up. Korea still has the highest tuberculosis rate among OECD countries. I can't believe that Moon Kwang... How could she not tell me? I can't. I wasn't sure if I should say anything, but I felt like you should know. I mean, she is just going about her business like everything is normal. There are young children in the house. That song is only 10, and this woman with her tuberculosis is in the kitchen making food and touching the dishes. Stop! Yeon-kyo goes into a shrieking fit. Please, no more! The art lesson in the mansion is in process. Ki-jung has Da-sung in her lap. She touches Da-sung's face with her cheek as she looks at his drawing. Ki-jung's cell phone dings. It's a text from Kai-tek. ETA 3 mins. Get ready. Suspenseful music builds as Ki-jung descends the stairs. When she removes her hand from her pockets, we see that it's covered in soft peach fuzz. The fuzz glistens in the afternoon sunlight as Ki-jung walks down to the kitchen, where she opens the fridge and removes a bottle of water. Moon Kwang comes over and holds her glass. As Ki-jung takes the glass, she casually wipes the peach fuzz on Moon Kwang's hand. Our first time inside the garage, Kai-tek carries the many shopping bags up the stairs. Yeon-kyo follows when she hears a violent coughing coming from upstairs. Yeon-kyo is appalled to see Moon Kwang coughing like a sick dog as she comes out to greet her and Kai-tek. Moon Kwang tries to take the bags from Kai-tek, but the coughing becomes unbearable. She runs to the kitchen. She tries to stifle her cough with a napkin. No use. She throws the napkin in the trash and rushes to the bathroom. Yeon-kyo is horrified. It's like watching Ebola spread in front of her eyes. Kai-tek just stands there, staring quietly at the discarded napkin in the kitchen. Kai-woo, in the half-basement. If you find an opportunity, do it. Just like we practiced. It'll be the cherry on top. Kai-tek leaves Yeon-kyo behind and walks over to the kitchen. He removes his hand from his pocket and reaches into the trash can, at which point we cut to a Pizza Time hot sauce packet hidden in Kai-tek's palm. Kai-tek quickly squirts the red sauce on the napkin. Our bloody finale. A terrified Yeon-kyo watches as Kai-tek removes the bloody napkin from the trash. Kai-tek grimly holds it up in front of her. Yeon-kyo becomes dizzy. She closes her eyes to keep herself from fainting. The music that continued through the last several scenes, the belt of trust, comes to a dramatic end. No more music. The house is quiet. We see a text from Yeon Kyo on Kai-tek's phone. Second floor sauna. Make sure she doesn't see you. Kai-tek looks around before quietly treading up the stairs. In the mansion's sauna, a small phone booth-sized sauna situated at the end of the hallway between the dressing room and bathroom. As soon as Kai-tek walks in, Yeon Kyo shuts the door and pulls down the roller shades. They are now inches away from each other in the tight space. Light seeps in from outside, illuminating Yeon Kyo's bloodshot eyes and smeared makeup. "Mr. Kim, you have to promise you won't tell my husband." "Of course." "He can't find out that I've been keeping that walking lung disease around the kids this whole time. He'll kill me." "Don't worry, Mrs. Park." "I don't want to step out of line, but I had a request as well. See, I have nothing personal against the housekeeper. I only acted out of a moral obligation to protect the health and safety of the public. I wouldn't want Mr. Park to think that I'm some kind of tattletale." Yeon Kyo cuts him off. "Don't worry. I'm not even going to mention the tuberculosis to Moon Kwang. I'll come up with a completely unrelated reason. Let her go quietly." "I see." "It's the best way. I've done it before." "Well, I trust your judgment." Kai-tek puts out his hand as if he wants to officialize the top-secret deal. They are sharing the most awkward handshake in the world when Yeon Kyo suddenly cringes. "Did you wash your hands, Mr. Kim?" The backyard seen through kitchen windows. Strong winds shake the trees. A storm is en route. Yeon Kyo is sitting at the patio table with Moon Kwang. Her face is cold as she calmly explains something to her soon-to-be former housekeeper. Moon Kwang's face gradually turns dark. Moon Kwang carries a large bag down the hill, still in disbelief, devastated. Her hair dances wildly in the rough winds. The sky is getting darker. Moon Kwang keeps looking back at the house as she walks away. She stops and stares at the firmly closed gate for a long time. Interior, Mercedes. It's raining outside. "Mr. Kim, do you know a place where I can get some good short ribs? Nothing too far." "Of course." Kai-tek turns the wheel and switches lanes. "You'll be eating out tonight?" "Yes, I suddenly had a craving for juicy short ribs, since I can't have them at home now." Kai-tek makes an effortless U-turn across the large 8-lane road. The raindrops on the windows swerve diagonally. "Our housekeeper used to make the best short ribs." "You mean the lady who just quit yesterday?" "She was with us for a long time. I don't know why she suddenly left. Mrs. Park wouldn't even tell me. I mean, there's no shortage of housekeepers looking for work, so I guess we can just hire another one, but it's a real pity. She was a great lady." "I see." "She took care of all the little things in the house, and she was a tremendous cook. Most importantly, she never crossed the line. If there's one thing I hate, it's people who cross the line. Well, I guess she did have one flaw. She was a big eater. Ate twice as much as other people, but I suppose she worked twice as hard to make up for that." "I guess Mrs. Park will need to find a new housekeeper soon." Dong-ik nods. "Or the house will descend into chaos. I guarantee she won't be able to survive a week without one. Shambles, I tell you. My clothing will start smelling." Mrs. Park definitely wins the Worst Homemaker Award. Doesn't know her way around a vacuum, and her cooking is just abysmal. "But you still love her, don't you?" Kai-tek's suddenly serious comment catches Dong-ik off guard. Silence. Then Dong-ik starts laughing. Hard. "Of course I love her. I don't know what else you'd call this." "Then maybe you should look at this." Kai-tek removes a business card from his pocket and hands it to Dong-ik. On a beautiful ivory-colored stock, only the name The Care is printed in elegant typography. No number, no address. The Care? What is this? "I just found out about them recently. It's a membership-based total care company. catering to families of VIPs like yourself. They provide maids, in-home caregivers, also drivers like myself. From what I hear, they select only the best, the most experienced workers. It looks very nice. Dong-ik flips the card to the other side. The design is gorgeous. How did you learn about this company, Mr. Kim? They called me about working for them. I guess I'm one of the more experienced drivers around, so they wanted to recruit me. I turned them down because I was already scheduled to meet you. I see. Well, I'm honored that you chose me over such a reputable company. I am forever grateful, Mr. Kim. Dong-ik laughs. You're being ridiculous, sir. They're laughing, but there's a subtle underlying tension between the two men. There's still a line that Dong-ik won't cross. He suddenly drops his smile. Well then, I guess I'll just give this to Mrs. Park. Yes, you should. But don't say I gave it to you. You should tell her that you looked it up yourself. Ha! Good idea. That's sure to earn me some points. Thank you, Mr. Kim. They're membership only, so I don't think they have a website or anything. It's just consultation number on the back. Ring, ring. Kai-jung picks up an old flip phone with the Care business card taped on the front. She sounds like a completely different person, sweet and welcoming. Thank you for calling the Care. This is Senior Advisor Yo Myung-sun. How may I help you? Chung-suk and Kai-tek watch Ki-jung as they eat breakfast. She could have won an Oscar if she became an actress. She has a nice voice, doesn't she? Just like me. Yeon-kyo has the phone on speaker. She has disposable kitchen gloves on and is generally floundering in the kitchen, overloading the dishwasher and sterilizing the disease-ridden pots and pans in an oversized steamer. Into the phone. I heard I need to sign up for a membership. That's correct. We are a membership-only service. If you aren't currently a member, I can guide you through the steps to become one. Into the phone. Sure, okay. Do you have a pen? I can give you the list of forms you need to submit. A fully transformed Chung-suk sits at a white patio table with Yeon-kyo. Classy hairstyle. Tasteful makeup. Yeon-kyo goes through Chung-suk's papers, especially focusing on her doctor's note. Just then, a white butterfly flits by Chung-suk's face. Its wings playfully bounce off the bright summer light. Over the idyllic scene, a beautiful aria begins to flow. As music continues, Steadicam shot, we glide up the stairs, first following Chung-suk's feet, then rising up to shoulder height, tracking her from behind as she walks down the second-floor hallway. She opens to Dahae's room. We follow Chung-suk as she walks in and sets down a plate of fruits in front of Dahae and Kai-woo. Yay, peaches! Please, have some too, Mr. Kevin. Thank you, ma'am. Chung-suk pinches Kai-woo's earlobe while Dahae is not looking. Kai-woo nearly jumps. Chung-suk just smiles and walks out of the room. We continue to follow her as she pads down the hall and enters Da-song's room, where we see the teepee in the corner. The flap opens and Kai-jung peeks out to see who it is. Da-song is tightly cuddled up between her arms, drawing a picture. He looks at Chung-suk, embarrassed. Next time, just knock and leave the food outside. Sorry. Please don't come in during the lesson. Chung-suk scoffs. She mouths, just eat the damn peaches, as she hands over the plate. She looks around at the drawings in the room, not impressed. She steps out into the hallway. We hear Dong-ik arriving downstairs. Da-song hears it too. He bolts out of the room and flies past Chung-suk towards the dining room. Daddy, did you get the walkie? Da-song, lesson's not over yet. This kid. That's all you think about, isn't it? Camping. Dong-ik picks up Da-song and holds him tightly. Camera circles around them and shows Kai-tek emerging from the garage with a bunch of boxes. Brand new camping supplies. On top of a walkie-talkie box. Wow, T667, dope. What's all this stuff? We just bought camping gear last year. These are different. Might as well complete the collection. Da-song has already opened the walkie-talkie box. He also goes through the other items, campfire supplies, an axe for chopping wood. As Kai-tek walks out, He quickly feels up Chung-suk's behind. Chung-suk giggles to herself as she goes to the kitchen sink. The long, Steadicam shot is about to come to a glorious end after showing the semi-basement's family complete and successful infiltration of the Park's mansion. Wait, not yet. Da Song suddenly starts sniffing the air. He runs over to Chung-suk and shoves his nose in her belly, startling her greatly. Da Song then darts over to Kai-tek and shoves his nose in his pant leg. Da Song, what's wrong with you? Same smell. They smell exactly the same. Kai-tek and Chung-suk freeze. Yan Kyo, embarrassed, roughly pushes Da Song away. Stop talking nonsense and go up to your room. Miss Jessica is waiting. That's weird. Miss Jessica has the same smell. Dong-ik laughs awkwardly. He's a little out there. They all laugh, but no one is laughing inside. We're now in the semi-basement. The table teems with food. We notice the viewing stone displayed prominently in the middle, an interesting decorating choice. Kai-tek is cooking ribs and mushrooms on an electric skillet when he suddenly smells his clothes. He scared me, the little punk. Does this mean we all have to use different soaps? Maybe we should all wash our clothes with different detergent, different fabric softeners too. I mean, I have to wash all your clothes separately? Fuck no. Ki-jung, expressionless. It won't work. It's the basement smell. Kai-woo is blank. The smell won't go away unless we leave this place. Truth bomb. They all fall silent at the brutal reality check, and for a while we only hear the sizzling of the grill. Kai-tek picks up his Sapporo and tries to change the subject. Forget about that. This is a good problem to have. Think about our lives before. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Hundreds of college graduates compete for a security guard job, for Christ's sake. Not us. We are all gainfully employed. You're right, Father. Cheers. Sure, we may not be getting six-figure salaries, but it's no small amount if you combine our wages. The Parks are investing a great part of their fortune into our family, so let us give thanks to Mr. Park, our generous employer. A great man. And how can I forget Min Hyuk? How lucky that our son is friends with such a thoughtful young man. It's all because of him that... Fuck, do they always have to ruin the moment? The family members all turn around, towards the window, which is being rattled by a robust stream of urine. A short, barely standing drunk man is relieving himself in the corner. That mother... Kai-woo jumps up. He grabs the viewing stone from the table and walks towards the door. Kai-tek, worried, quickly runs after him. Ki-jung scoffs. Oh no, here comes the rage machine. Why is he acting tough all of a sudden? Is he trying to kill someone? Kai-tek catches up with Kai-woo and wrests the stone from his hands. Kai-woo picks up the umbrella instead. He runs out. Ki-jung lights up. This is going to be fun. She opens the high-speed photography app on her phone and starts filming. We see the following sequence through the app in slow motion. Kai-woo appears outside the window and starts swinging the umbrella wildly at the short man, who sprays urine everywhere as he falls. Kai-tek runs out with a bucket of water. He throws the water at the short man, but momentarily loses balance and splashes Kai-woo instead. Ki-jung laughs. This is gold. Chung-suk has no interest. She continues grilling meat, happy to finish the food by herself. Unsettling music plays over the wild, primal thrashing of the three men. The violent, rage-fueled dance dissolves to the outside of the mansion during the day. The garden is sun-drenched. Da Song looks up at the sky through a piece of soot-colored glass, an improvised sun viewer. He has a bow and axe strapped to his back. He pushes the button on his walkie-talkie into the radio. The sky is mostly clear. Some clouds visible, but no rain clouds. Over. Dong-ik into the radio. Copy that. I'm here in the kitchen, and Dahae has been infected with a serious case of duck lips. If she keeps pouting like that, she might actually turn into a duck. She looks pissed. Over. Dong-ik giggles as he teases Dahae, who looks completely miserable in her camping outfit. What's with the face? Let's all try to have a good time. Can't I just stay home and study with Kevin? I know you hate camping, but it's Dasong's birthday, and you're his sister. Come on, it won't be so bad. We'll build a fire, sing happy birthday at midnight, blow out candles under the stars. It'll be wonderful. Chung-suk brings up a tent bed and guitar case from the storage basement. Dae gives up and puts on her large Bluetooth headphones, shutting out reality. Yeon-kyo takes Chung-suk to the living room where the 3 dogs are. I'm sure you know all their names by now, from left to right. Barry, Junie, Fufu. Of course, Barry and Junie only eat natural, balanced, organic. Yeon-kyo emphasizes by pointing to each of the dogs' foods in the care basket. Yes, and Fufu only needs this kamaboko, Japanese crab cake. In the garage. And don't hold the leash too short when you're walking Junie. He needs to burn off that energy. It's easy if you think of him as a canine version of Dasong. Don't worry. Yeon-kyo is sitting in the driver's seat, endlessly rattling off instructions until the garage door goes all the way up and the Mercedes starts rolling out. Dasong pretends to shoot an arrow from the back seat, and Chung-suk grabs her chest like she was shot. Moments later, she's finally alone. She presses the button. Her face gradually immerses in darkness as the shutter goes down. Chung-suk is taking a peaceful nap on the large sofa. We hear her soft breathing. Slanted late afternoon rays wrap her face warmly. She slowly wakes up and wipes her drool. When she sits up, we see Kai-tek sleeping behind her. Chung-suk looks out at the garden where Kai-woo is lying in the grass with the 3 dogs, looking at the sky. We notice a yellow journal clutched in his hand. What are you doing out there? Come inside. Kai-woo takes a deep breath as he gazes up at the sky. He has never been more relaxed. You should try it. It's nice to be able to see the sky from your own home. He picks himself up and walks into the living room. He stretches his arms as he walks over to the kitchen. Water, Mom? Sure. Kai-woo gets a few bottles of Evian from the fridge. He gives one to Chung-suk before heading up the stairs. A groggy Kai-tek gets up from the sofa and trudges over to a cabinet in the corner. A variety of whiskeys are on display. Ki-jung is taking a bubble bath. She picks up the remote and changes the channel on the wall-mounted TV when... a knock. You want water? Read my mind. Thanks, Brody. The door opens a crack and Kai-woo rolls a bottle towards Ki-jung. He then continues on to Dahe's room. Kai-woo throws himself on Dahe's bed. He reaches into the space between the bed and the wall and finds a pretty wooden box hidden there. Dahe's box of secrets. It has a small combination lock on the front. Kai-woo unlocks the box and puts in the yellow journal he was reading. He then takes out another yellow journal and opens it. Pages filled with Dahe's small, thoughtful handwriting. Kai-tek sits with a white towel across his lap, sweating it out in the steam-filled room. He guzzles down a cold bottle of Evian. Refreshing. He turns the hourglass upside down. The sound of myriad sand grains rolling down the glass turns into the sound of rain. The large coffee table is filled with various whiskey bottles and gourmet snacks. The 4 family members are comfortably sprawled across the couch and floor. It's like they own the place. They sip whiskey and watch rain falling outside the window. This is classy. Sipping whiskey on a rainy day, enjoying the view. Kai-tek takes several bottles and pours a little of each into his tumbler. What the hell are you doing? Why are you mixing all the booze? This way Mr. Park won't notice. It'll be too obvious if we drink from one bottle. Nice to see you using that brain for once. Barry comes over to Chung-suk, wagging her tail, but Chung-suk kicks her away. Chung-suk is already drunk. Her face is bright red. But you always get shit-faced when you mix your drinks, Dad. That's no way to talk to your father. Shit-faced. Not you, too. Let me pour you a shot, Father. Kai-woo tries to lighten the mood. He looks out the window as he pours a shot with both hands. It's probably raining at the campsite, too. They must be having a magical time. Dae and her family. Raindrops pattering the tent. Playing the guitar. By the way, what's that yellow notebook you've been carrying? This? Kai-Wu picks up the yellow journal. Dahe's diary. Oh my god, why are you reading that? I just want to understand her on a deeper level. Disgusting. You two going out or something? He nods. It's serious. She likes me, too. I'm going to officially ask her out when she goes to college. For real. They all stare at Kai-Wu. He must be shitting them, but he's not. Kai-Tak slaps Kai-Wu's shoulder. That's my boy. That means this is your future wife's house. The Parks will be your in-laws. I guess that's true. Chung-Suk joins the laughter. You mean I'm fucking washing dishes for my future in-laws? Hilarious. You're washing your future in-laws' tidy whities. Your daughter-in-law's school socks. Kai-Tak pretends to wash a sock, laughing hysterically, when he suddenly feels Chung-Suk's murderous glare. He slowly stops. Chung-Suk downs her whiskey and turns serious. She calmly turns to Kai-Wu. I like that girl. She's nice. Pretty, but not full of herself. Well, as long as we're getting ahead of ourselves, if you think about it, nowadays people barely see their in-laws anyway. How many times do you think families see each other after their kids get married? Ha, crazy fuck. You hear about people hiring actors to stand in for their parents at weddings? We'll do the same thing. A lot of TV extras do that kind of work. Kai-Wu points at Ki-jung. She did too. Got paid to be one of the bride's guests. She went to a bunch of weddings last year. I even caught a bouquet once. First time I ever saw the bitch. They paid $10 extra for the bouquet. Ha! That's how you became such a good actress. Good times continue as whiskey flows. Jokes and laughter abound. Sure, the acting was good, but I was surprised that the family was so easy to trick. Especially the missus. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I guess we should be thankful for that. Yes, she's so innocent and kind. A rich person who's also kind-hearted. Chung-Suk stops mid-sip and stares at Kai-Tak. Not also kind-hearted. She's kind-hearted because she's rich. You get it? Kai-Tak doesn't. Chung-Suk looks around. If I had all this, my heart would be overflowing with kindness. Chung-Suk's voice grows. She gulps down another glass. That's true. Your mother has a point. Rich people are more naive. They don't have a bitter bone in them. And the kids are happier. No wise asses. It's the money. Money cures all the little wise asses. Ki-jung slowly grows irritated as her parents go on and on about rich people. She tosses back her whiskey. Kai-Wu, that guy. What was his name? Yoon, the old driver? Yes, Mr. Yoon. He's probably doing fine, right? I'm sure he got a job. Of course. He's young, healthy, plenty of opportunities. Yeah, I'm sure he got an even better job. Ki-jung slams down her glass and yells at her family. Shut the fuck up. What the hell's wrong with you? Fuck rich people. Just worry about your own goddamn family. Ki-jung looks like she's about to cry. We've never seen her like this before. Vulnerable, like a hurt child. Dad, please, stop worrying about other people. Look at me, us, your son and daughter, we're right here. Almost at the exact moment as Ki-jung's soulful outburst, like a timed effect, the lightning and thunder strike outside the window, followed by heavy rain. Kai-Tak looks out the window. Ha! Did you see that? Right on cue. Imitating Ki-jung. Dad, we're right here. Pow! Thunder and lightning. Awesome. Kai-Wu tries to console Ki-jung. He brushes her hair and talks in a brotherly voice. Come on now, Jessica. Let's drink. Cheers. Kai-Wu clinks his glass against Ki-jung's. You know, Ki-jung, when I saw you upstairs in the bathroom, you looked so... What? I looked so what? You just looked natural in that bathtub. This house, it suits you. You're not like us. Fuck off. It's true, Dad. She was in the tub watching TV, taking a fancy bubble bath. It just felt like she belonged there. Is that right? Kai-Wu becomes more animated at Kai-Tak's exaggerated reaction. He opens his arms wide and looks around at the living room. Imagine for a second that this was our house. Say we lived here. Which room would you like to have? Out of all the beautiful rooms designed by the great Namjong Hyungja, Which one would you like to be yours? I don't know. Buy me the fucking house first and I'll think about it. We're living here right now, aren't we? We're here in the living room, drinking and having a good time, just like we would if this was our place. That's true. We are currently living here, for all intents and purposes. This is our house right now. Nice and cozy. Chung-suk, face bulging red, flashes a dirty grin. You're cozy, huh? That's real nice. What if Mr. Park comes back right now? He would skitter away like a little cockroach. Chung-suk laughs loudly at her own joke. Kai-tak is quiet. Huh, you kids know what I'm talking about, right? Our apartment? How we turn on the kitchen lights, the roaches all run away and disappear under the cabinets? He would be exactly like that. Kai-tak stares hard at Chung-suk, who continues to howl. Kai-tak's eyes are red, hostile. This is a different Kai-tak. Fucking bitch. You've gone too far this time. Chung-suk is silent. What, I'm a cockroach? Crash. Kai-tak sweeps the table and knocks over the bottles and plates. Kai-woo and Ki-jung are stunned. Chung-suk is absolutely still. She glowers at Kai-tak, who, unlike before, doesn't back down. He stares right back, tension growing when his face starts cracking. He begins to snicker. Chung-suk does too. They both burst into laughter. I got you! I totally got you! The two continue to laugh their asses off. Kai-tak seems especially pleased with his performance. He slaps Kai-woo on the shoulder. How was that, Spielberg? Pretty realistic, right? You like my acting now? Wow, Dad, you totally got me. Ki-jung laughs, relieved. Shit. You're gonna clean this up, right? Huh. I didn't believe him for 1 second. Really? I thought he was really gonna kill you. He could never do that. Father hasn't a single backbone in his body. The epitome of a spineless They are all laughing uproariously when the doorbell rings loudly throughout the house. They all freeze and look at each other. Who the hell could that be? The doorbell continues to ring. Who could it be at this time? What do you think it is? Chung-suk scurries over to the gate monitor. She sees a familiar round face filling the screen. It's Moon Kwang. She's standing in the rain, dressed in all black. What the... Why is she here? It's her, right? The old housekeeper? She nods. Why do you think she's here? Moon Kwang presses the doorbell again and again. It rings loudly throughout the house. This could go on for a while. What's she doing? Why doesn't she just leave? It's so loud. She could go on all night. Hold on. I'm supposed to be here. I can answer. Before Kai-woo can stop her, Chung-suk presses the speak button. Who is it? Hi, how are you? Mrs. Park isn't in, right? Moon Kwang's speech is slightly slurred. She had a drink or two herself. I used to work here for many, many years. The monitor you're looking at, there's a picture above it, right? Barry, Junie, Foo-Foo, from left to right. That's all fine, but how can I help you? It's very late. You're my replacement, aren't you? Moon Kwang laughs. Sad, drunk laughter. Chung-suk remains on guard. Moon Kwang suddenly turns serious. I'm sorry to bother you at this hour. There's something in the basement that I left behind, and I was wondering if I could pick it up. I was fired without any notice, so I didn't have time to gather all my things. Chung-suk looks at Kai-woo. What do we do? Kai-woo has no idea. This wasn't in our plan. Chung-suk opens the door to reveal Moon Kwang standing in the rain. She looks grotesque with one eye heavily swollen. Her face is eerily and intermittently illuminated by the motion sensor light. Moon Kwang drips water as she walks over to the kitchen. The living room is not fully visible from her vantage point. Kai-tak, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung remain in the dark around the coffee table, listening to Chung-suk and Moon Kwang's conversation. I'm sorry for the intrusion. Thank you so much for letting me in. She looks over at the kitchen sink. The faucet drips if you turn it that way. Moon Kwang continues to drone on deliriously. We don't know if she's just drunk or crazy. The faucet's fine. What do you need to pick up? Would you like to come down with me? Moon Quang flashes a creepy grin as she points to the stairs descending into the dark storage basement. Chung Suk is spooked. She hesitates. No thanks. Just hurry up and get what you need. We close on a drop of water precariously dangling from the kitchen's faucet. It's been a while since Moon Quang went down to the storage room. Chung Suk starts getting worried. She gets up from the chair. A nervous Chung Suk walks down the narrow staircase and peers into the darkness. She hears a strange moan coming from inside and soon discovers Moon Quang levitating horizontally in the air. We realize that she actually has her feet set against the wall and is pushing the jar cabinet with her hands. The glass jars rattle as she shoves with all her might. Chung Suk is confused. Can you give me a hand? Help me push. Huh? He's going to die, please. What's going on? Just help me first. Chung Suk has no idea what's going on, but starts pushing with Moon Quang. We see Kaiwoo, Kijung, and Kai-tek peeking from the staircase. Chung Suk sees something on the ground as she's pushing. Wait, maybe this is the problem. Chung Suk pulls a bundle of wires stuck under the cabinet. As soon as she does, the cabinet smoothly rolls to the side, pretty much on its own, as if it were set on rails. It moves out of view to reveal, to Chung Suk's great astonishment, a dark steel door hidden behind it. Moon Quang opens the door and hurries inside. Chung Suk shakes off her sock and follows Moon Quang down the dark staircase. Babe! Babe! We get glimpses of the dark underground bunker as Moon Quang waves around the flashlight on her cell phone. Low ceiling, gray walls, a small passageway. Chung Suk covers her nose at the awful smell. Kunsei! Moon Quang's flashlight finally finds a pale, severely malnourished face. This is Kunsei, 45, Moon Quang's husband. He looks up from his cot, woken up by the sound. He blinks his large eyes. Chung Suk looks horrified. Stop yelling, I'm okay. Moon Quang immediately shoves a baby bottle in his mouth and starts feeding him. It's filled with some kind of gruel. No, you're not. You're not okay. Why are you in the dark? Why did you turn off the lights? We have to conserve energy. It all comes out of Mr. Park's pocket. Kunsei turns off the light and is startled to see Chung Suk standing in front of him. He springs from the bed, but Moon Quang pushes him back down. It's fine, we're okay. Moon Quang points at Chung Suk. She's a friend. She helped me get in here. It was the damn wires. They were stuck under the cabinet. No wonder. Laughs weakly. I tried everything, but I couldn't get it to open. I couldn't get up to the kitchen. How many days have you gone without food? I'm so sorry, babe. Chung Suk is at a loss. Kaiwoo, Kijung, and Kai-tek have followed Chung Suk and Moon Quang down and are eavesdropping from the staircase. They look stunned. What are you people up to? Why are you... I know how this looks. You must think we're crazy, but please, Chung Suk, have some pity. Us domestic workers, we're sisters. Chung Suk. How the hell do you know my name? Da Song and I still text from time to time. I came here because I knew the family would be on a camping trip. I wanted to talk to you alone. Chung Suk can't believe her ears. Surprise turns to anger. Don't worry, sis. No one knows I'm here. Moon Quang removes a pair of wire cutters from her pocket. I cut the wires on the surveillance camera on my way in. That's good, right? Huh, big sis? Wait, hold on. Aren't you older than me? I was born in 74. The year of the tiger. My name is Moon Quang. Chung Suk is speechless. Moon Quang points to Kunsei. This is my husband. Oh, Kunsei. Kunsei smiles innocently as he continues to suck on the empty bottle. Chung Suk regards the scene with disbelief. Moon Quang takes out a banana from her pocket. She peels it and feeds it to Kunsei. So the whole time you were working here, you were smuggling food down from the kitchen? No, everything he ate came from my pocket, from the money I made here. I never stole anything. Sure. And how long has he been down here, your husband? Let's see, about 4 years? You gotta be kidding me. 4 years, 3 months, and 17 days to be exact. Kunsei laughs. That's right, it's already June. He started living here after Mr. Namgaong moved out 4 years ago, before Dasong's family moved in. Chung-suk looks around the room. It has a toilet, sink, small fridge, an old-fashioned TV set. Enough amenities to survive underground. Moon-kwang continues to speak, blinking her swollen eyes. A lot of these rich people, they build bunkers and secret rooms in their homes, in case the North Koreans invade or in case creditors come knocking on their doors. Maybe Mr. Namgong felt embarrassed about building such a room. He didn't mention it to the Parks when he sold the house. Huh. Nobody in the house knew about the room, except for me. Some balls you got. Well, now I know too, and I know what I'm gonna do. Chung-suk takes out her phone. Call the fucking cops. Moon-kwang drops to her knees and starts begging. No, please, sis. Sobs. We're all in the same boat, aren't we? We all need a little help to get by. I'm not your fucking sister, bitch. I don't need nobody's help. Well, I do. I don't have a house. I don't have money. All I have is a mountain of debt. What do you want me to do about it? He's been down here for 4 years, and the loan sharks still won't let go. They're obsessed. They say they're going to kill him. You borrowed from loan sharks? Moon-kwang nods. It's all my fault. He laughs, embarrassed. I started a cake shop, Taiwanese Castella, and it completely bankrupted us. Kunsei laughs again, a nervous habit. When Kai-tek hears the word Castella, his face crowds with emotion. He knows the shame. Moon-kwang hands Chung-suk an envelope. Please, take this. What is this? It's not much, I know, but I can send you money every month. All I ask is you come down here every other day and leave him something to eat. Actually, no. Once a week is fine. There's a little fridge down here, so... Are you crazy? You people are unbelievable. Get away from me. Chung-suk lifts her phone. I'm gonna call the cops. Kai-tek and the kids look worried. That wouldn't be good for them either. Kai-tek is awkwardly leaning over, listening to the conversation when his foot slips and he falls down the stairs. He is unable to control his large body and takes down Kai-jung and Kai-woo with him. Kai-jung screams. Chung-suk is startled when she sees the family spilling down the stairs. Moon-kwang is even more confused. It's Kevin, Jessica, and Mr. Kim. Why are they here? What the hell? Laughs. Honey, who are all these people? Miss Jessica, Mr. Kim? What's everyone doing down here? Moon-kwang is speechless for a moment before the pieces slowly come together in her head. She takes out her cell phone. As Kai-tek scrambles to get up, he accidentally steps on Kai-woo's foot. Ow! Dad, my foot! Chung-suk and Ki-jung immediately freeze. Kai-woo realizes what he just said and turns pale. He sees Moon-kwang recording everything on her cell phone. Now I get it. I knew something wasn't right. Moon-kwang plays back the footage she just shot. Ow, Dad, my foot! Kai-woo's face and voice are clearly recorded on video. Finally, everything comes together for Moon-kwang. Kai-woo is devastated. Now I get it. You're all a family that scams people together. It's not like that. I knew something was off when Yoon was fired for no reason. You despicable. Listen, sis, I'm not your sister, you life-ruining bitch. Moon-kwang shows Chung-suk her phone. Why don't I send this little video to Mrs. Park right now? The video is already prepped for transfer on her messenger app. Kai-woo and family are sweating. Kai-tek, still a little tipsy from the whiskey, says quietly to Ki-jung, There's probably no reception down here. Ki-jung looks at her phone. Actually, it's pretty good. Fuck. Please. We really need these jobs. We went through a lot to get them. We're not scam artists. We're... Cutting him off. Shut up. I don't give a shit. I don't care if we all go to prison. I'll fucking end everything right here. Shut up! Kai-tek thunders loudly. Silencing everyone in the room, Kai-woo frowns and covers his ears. Are you crazy, lady? Moon-kwang is puzzled by Kai-tek's random outburst. Imagine how upset the Parks would be if they saw the video. They are nice people. They've shown nothing but kindness. Why would you do that to them? What the... Erase it. Now. He burps. Then we can talk. Then I will consider your demands. He seems to be doing the method acting thing, playing scary Kai-tek, but no one is really buying. He makes 0 sense. They're all just looking around. What's wrong with your husband? I apologize on his behalf. Now let's all calm down. Kunsei is watching the drama unfold when he suddenly loses balance and nearly falls. He's still weak. Moon Kwang sticks her phone out like a gun as she grabs Kunsei. Back off, or I'm going to hit send. Kai-tek and family flinch. They slowly back off. Let's get you upstairs. You need some fresh air. Sounds good. All of you go upstairs and stay in one place. If you move 1 inch out of my sight, I'm hitting send. It's pouring outside. Kunsei is lying face down on the large sofa, and Moon Kwang is on top giving a massage. Kai-tek and crew are kneeling in the corner with their arms raised. It's funny, your phone, it's like a nuclear button. What are you talking about? They all hide their tails when you say you'll press the button. You're like North Korea. The phone is Kim Jong-un's nuke. Moon Kwang sits up straight like a military cadet. North Korean accent. Upon seeing the atrocious acts committed by the family of depraved bandits on mobile camera, our dear leader Kim Jong-un determined to deliver fiery justice. Out of nowhere, she starts impersonating a North Korean news anchor. Kunsei laughs like a little kid. I missed your impressions. Ignoring the cowardly ruling of the United Nations Security Council, our dear leader announced that he would execute the family of delinquents by firing squad. Haha, no one does commie impressions better than you. I love you, babe. Kai-tek and family stare at Moon Kwang and Kunsei incredulously. Who are these people? What are you looking at? Keep your heads down. They all look down. Moon Kwang starts recording with her cell phone again, panning from the family members to the scattered food and booze bottles on the floor. Scumbags. Look at this debauchery. This is how you treat the living room created by the great Namjong Hyunja? Kunsei looks out at the garden. A great living room it is. Remember, honey? How we would sit here when the weather was nice, looking out at the garden. So enchanting. It was. Park would be at work, the kids at school. Yeon Kyo would go out shopping and the house would be so quiet. You would come up and we would have tea together. Yes, royal milk tea. We would enjoy the view, listening to Rashomon on the Bluetooth speaker. Moon Kwang is lost in sweet reverie when Chung-suk suddenly runs towards the sofa like a linebacker rushing a quarterback. She rams the sofa with her hefty frame, knocking Moon Kwang off balance and making her drop the phone. Immediately, Kai-tek dives after the phone, while Moon Kwang tries to retrieve it. Then Kai-woo lunges towards Moon Kwang. Then Kunsei after him. And of course, Ki-jung has to jump on after Kunsei. 6 bodies desperately intertwined, 12 hands clawing, fingers outstretched towards the phone. The view from outside. Through the thick curtain of rain, we see 6 people, none of whom actually live in the house, chaotically brawling inside. A surreal sight. The rain drowns out the sound. Ki-jung extracts herself from the melee and runs towards the kitchen. Ki-jung opens the fridge. She grabs a black plastic bag from inside and runs back into the living room. Moon Kwang has the phone back, but it's far from over. Chung-suk is choking her from behind, and Kai-woo is beside her, trying to pry the phone away. We see Kai-tek wrestling Kunsei nearby. Ki-jung rushes back into the living room with the black bag. She pours the contents, a dozen or so peaches, over Moon Kwang's head. Moon Kwang screams. Ki-jung picks up one of the peaches and squashes it against Moon Kwang's face. Ah! Moon Kwang sticks her tongue out and starts coughing violently. She rolls on the floor, clutching her swollen throat, allowing Kai-woo to snatch her phone. At the same time, Kai-tek subdues Kunsei and the family seems to have everything under control, until the living room phone begins to ring. Chung-suk checks her cell phone. She sees several missed calls from Mrs. Park. Shit. When the landline continues to ring, the family members silence Moon Kwang and Kunsei by covering their mouths. Chung-suk answers the phone. Hello? Yeon Kyo is on the other side of the phone. You're there! You know how to make yapaguri, right? Spicy yayang udon? Yapaguri? Inside the Mercedes. It's Dasong's favorite. If you start cooking now, it'll be ready by the time we get there. There's some prime flank steak in the fridge, so you should put that in too. Rain batters the Mercedes. Dasong is in the back seat with his eyes closed. He looks pissed. He's taken Dasong's reality-canceling headphones and is wearing them over his ears. Yeon-kyo glances back from the passenger seat. It was complete hell. The stream at the campsite flooded and we had to pack up our tents, but Dasong just refused to leave. He was crying and yelling. We barely got him in the car, and now we're on our way. I'm counting on the yapaguri. It has to be ready. So, you're almost here? 8 minutes according to navigation. I see, 8 minutes. Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung are completely aghast. You should start now. You're the best. Yeon-kyo hangs up. The family members all look at each other blankly. What the fuck do we do? The living room, still wildly littered with whiskey bottles, plates, peaches. Chung-suk closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. What the hell is yapaguri? Look it up. The recipe's online. Kai-woo is completely numb. He's just standing there, still out of breath from the fracas, when... What do we do? I don't know. This wasn't part of the plan. They're all standing around when Kai-tek suddenly twists Kunsei's arm. Kai-tek has a manic glow about him. His eyes are bloodshot. Ow! Move! Hurry! At Kai-tek's command, the family jump into action. Ki-jung starts clearing the bottles with lightning speed, and Kai-tek drags Kunsei towards the basement. Kai-woo roughly pulls up Moon Kwang. Her eyes are heavily swollen, like she just went through 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. She coughs incessantly as she is hauled away. Chung-suk is solely focused on the yapaguri. She looks up the recipe while putting water on the stove. She rips open 2 packs of noodles, yayang ramen, and instant udon. Kai-tek pushes Kunsei down the stairs into the secret room. He's rough, scary, and it's not acting. Even in this dire situation, Kunsei can't stop his laughing. You don't have to do this. Let's all sit down and talk. Kai-tek shuts Kunsei up by throwing him on the floor. Kai-tek then looks through the miscellaneous crap in the room and finds a power cord. He is tying Kunsei with it when Kai-woo rushes down the stairs with Moon Kwang. He also looks for something to tie Moon Kwang with. She's barely breathing and is only half conscious. I'll take care of them. You go and help Ki-jung. Okay. Kai-woo is still numb. He has no focus in his eyes. No longer the man with a plan. He just does as he's told. He hurries up the stairs. Chung-suk methodically lays out the ramen soup packets on the counter and starts cooking the flank steak. Kai-woo comes up from the basement. He runs past her and goes into the living room, where Ki-jung is kicking foods and plates under the furniture. She moves fast with purpose. Kai-woo is looking at her blankly when he hears the Mercedes arriving in the garage. He panics. He sees Dahei's yellow journal on top of the coffee table and picks it up. He hurries up to the second floor. Chung-suk stirs the noodles with great speed. She soon hears the Park family walking up the garage stairs. Ki-jung stops everything and picks up the remaining peaches. She hides under the large coffee table. A disgruntled Dasong appears first and stalks across the living room. From under the coffee table, Ki-jung sees Yeon-kyo running after Dasong. She points to the kitchen. Dasong, look what Chung-suk made. It's yapaguri, your favorite. Dasong ignores the steaming bowl of yapaguri and walks up the stairs. An equally pissed Dahei comes up behind him and snatches the headphones off his ears. She stomps ahead of him. Kai-woo closes the box of journals and puts the combination lock back on. He quickly hides under the bed. Dahei walks inside moments later and throws herself on the bed. The bottom of the mattress sinks and nearly touches Kai-woo's nose. Dahei turns up the volume on her phone. Music escapes from her headphones. Kai-tek finishes tying Kunsei and moves on to Moon Kwang. She's still hyperventilating and her eyes are swollen shut. Kai-tek approaches with a cord when Moon Kwang suddenly gets up and shoves Kai-tak to the side. She runs up the stairs. Kai-tak chases her. Yeon-kyo gives up on talking to Da-song. She walks down to the kitchen where Chung-suk is waiting with the yapaguri. At the same time, Chung-suk sees Moon Kwang running up from the storage basement. With the pot still in her hands, she swiftly turns towards the door and, pow! Kicks Moon Kwang in the face. Moon Kwang tumbles down and slams her head hard on one of the steps. Looks like at least a concussion. Kai-tak witnesses the fall from below and gasps. Yeon-kyo walks into the kitchen, having missed the devastating kick by a mere millisecond. She sits at the dining table. "This is ridiculous. You should eat this." "Oh, thank you." "Wait, no, I'll give it to Dong-ik. You put the steak in, right?" Chung-suk is too worried about Moon Kwang to be annoyed by Yeon-kyo's flip-flopping. She looks down at the bottom of the stairs, where Moon Kwang lies unconscious with her head rammed into the wall. Kai-tak soon drags her out of sight. Kai-tak pulls Moon Kwang's limp body through the steel door that leads to the secret room. He slides the cabinet back in place to cover the entrance. He sees that Moon Kwang is unconscious and starts panicking. He slaps her in the face. He's relieved when Moon Kwang lets out a weak moan. Kai-tak starts tying her with a cord when he hears a strange noise coming from below. He rushes down the stairs to see Kun-se, arms still tied, banging his head against a series of electrical switches on the wall. A truly bizarre sight. "What the hell are you doing?" "Mr. Park is home. This is my welcome home ritual." Above Kun-se, Kai-tak sees a tall open space, the hollow area beneath the garage stairs. We hear Dong-ik's footsteps heading up to the living room. Kun-se continues to bang on the switches. Kai-tak sees that the lines from the switches go all the way up to the entrance. "What are you staring at? I do this every day." As Dong-ik walks up from the garage, the lights above him blink one by one in sequence. That's when we realize the motion sensor lights that we noticed throughout the film weren't motion sensor lights after all. It was Kun-se's performance welcoming Dong-ik home. "Babe, have some yapaguri. I put some steak in." He shakes his head. "No thanks. I'm going to take a shower." Kun-se sings a silly improvised song as he gleefully bangs the switches with his forehead, singing, "Welcome back, what a hard day you must have had at work. Welcome back, Mr. Park, we love you so much." Yeon-kyo, about the lights. That sensor is all bonkers. Yeon-kyo talks to Chung-suk as she shoves yapaguri and flank steak in her mouth. She looks up. "I guess there are still some things you need to learn about us." "You think we're weird, right?" Slurps ramen. "We go out of our way to indulge Da-song, treat him like some kind of a crown prince?" "Not at all. You have to understand, Da-song needs special care. He's not well. We've been helping him with trauma therapy and art therapy. You see, he went through a traumatic event when he was little." "What kind of... Do you believe in ghosts?" "Ghosts?" "When Da-song was in first grade, he saw a ghost." Yeon-kyo tells the story as she noisily slurps her ramen. Chung-suk's spine tingles. A creepy silence surrounds the kitchen. Ki-jung listens intently from under the coffee table. "That year, we threw him a big birthday party at home. At night, when we were all asleep, Da-song snuck back down to the kitchen because he couldn't stop thinking about the cake. You see, the fresh cream on that cake was just divine." "Right." "He was crouched over there in the front of the refrigerator, eating cake with his fingers when..." Chung-suk is riveted. "He saw something. Over there. In the living room window. A dark figure." "In the garden?" "No, in the kitchen." Yeon-kyo points to the living room window. "See? You can see the kitchen reflected in the window." My goodness. He saw a dark figure looking over his shoulders. A ghost. As the camera whip pans to the living room window, we transition to a flashback. We see the kitchen reflected in the living room window. Da Song is sitting on the floor, plowing into his cake. We see a dark figure behind Da Song, the ghost. He just stands there watching Da Song eat. Back to the present. I heard a scream and rushed down the stairs. Tears are building. When I found him, his eyes were rolled back and he was foaming at the mouth, shaking uncontrollably. Oh my gosh. Have you seen a child going through a seizure? It's awful. If you don't perform first aid in the first 15 minutes, it's over. You have to take him to the hospital as soon as you can. Yeon-kyo shakes off the memory and returns to her ditzy self. Dong-ik was away on a business trip, and I was all by myself. Anyway, after that horrible experience, we have tried to go away every year for his birthday. Last year we went to my parents' house, and this year we thought camping. She angrily tosses her noodles. And now it's all gone to crap. I see. Chung-suk realizes who the ghost was, but keeps it quiet. Dong-ik doesn't take it seriously. Growing pains, he says. And he says living in a haunted house actually brings good fortune. Good for business or something. You know what, though? Business has been very good these last few years. It's funny. As Yeon-kyo rambles on, the camera moves in on Da Song's drawing on the wall. It focuses on the schizophrenia zone, where we see the dark, ambiguous shape drawn in it. The shape, which vaguely resembles a ghost. Match cuts to Kunsei's dark face staring back at Kai-tek. Kai-tek looks at the numerous notes and drawings covering the walls. He sees the photos and magazine interviews of Nangong Hunja and Dong-ik, a record of Kunsei's devolving mind. Kai-tek feels like he's in the Twilight Zone. God, I can't believe you lived here for so long. I guess you had no choice. Plenty of people live underground. More if you count semi-underground apartments. Kunsei laughs. So that was your plan? You didn't even have one, did you? Ha ha ha. I like it here. It almost feels like I grew up here. This might as well be my official address. Kunsei rambles on incoherently, his eyes glazed and out of focus. Kai-tek starts getting scared. Please, you have to let me stay here. Kai-tek finds a roll of duct tape among the mess and starts ripping off a piece. Please, talk to my wife. We don't have to fight. Where did she go? She didn't mean what she said. The woman really has a heart of gold. She stood by me the whole time I was in here, 4 long years. Kai-tek tapes Kunsei's mouth shut. He then goes to the stairs and tapes Moon Kwang's mouth shut as well. As he does, he feels something wet behind her head. Blood. Kai-tek's head spins when he sees the blood on his fingertips. He runs up the stairs. Kai-tek shuts the steel door and ties the handle with wires. He then pushes the cabinet back in place, sealing off the secret doorway. Breathing heavily, he looks up at the thin bar of light coming from the kitchen. We're on Kai-woo's stunned face. He is face to face with Junie, who is poking his head under the mattress, having found Kai-woo. Da-hye looks down at Junie from the bed. She becomes curious when she sees the dog wagging his tail with his head buried under the bed. She bends over to see what it is when she hears Yeon-kyo walking up the stairs. She immediately springs back up. Picking up Junie, she walks out into the hallway, where she confronts Yeon-kyo. You're unbelievable. What? You didn't even ask me. I like Yapaguri too. Yeon-kyo wipes her mouth. Da Song didn't want it, so you offered it to Chung-suk, and then you gave it to Dad, and then instead of asking me, you decided to eat it all by yourself. What? I didn't even cross your mind? Da-hye and Yeon-kyo bicker down the hall, soon disappearing from our sight. Through Da-hye's open door, we see Kai-woo slowly emerging from under the bed. He checks the hallway before tiptoeing under the stairs, where he sees Chung-suk waving at him from below, come down. Chung-suk also gestures towards the basement stairs, from which Kai-tek carefully walks out. Once they're all together, They start towards the living room. The family quietly crosses the living room towards the garage entrance. They stop. They make a quick detour to the coffee table where Ki-jung is still hiding. They are helping her out from under the table when they suddenly hear footsteps thundering down the stairs, fast. Ki-jung hides under the table again. Having nowhere to go, Kai-woo and Kai-tek also crawl underneath. Chung-suk turns to see Da-song running down the stairs, dressed in a raincoat. He's wearing a backpack and also has a folded teepee strapped across his shoulders. Chung-suk, slow down! Dangling all kinds of camping gear over his raincoat, Da-song storms through the living room and heads to the garden. He opens the glass door and jumps out into the pouring rain. He then starts building the teepee in the middle of the yard. He's quick, efficient, a true scout. Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik yell at Da-song as they rush down the stairs. Da-song, are you crazy? Da-song Park. I can't believe this. Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik hesitate at the door, still in their pajamas. Chung-suk brings 2 umbrellas, and they finally go out. Da-song has already finished setting up the teepee and is now working on the inside. Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung attempt to make a run while Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik are outside. They start wiggling their way out when Da-hae comes running down the stairs, and they wiggle back in. What the fuck is going on down here? Da-song watches her parents pleading with Da-song in the rain. Pathetic. She shoots a video and sends it to none other than Mr. Kevin, aka Kai-woo, whose phone vibrates just a few feet from her under the table. Kai-woo quickly silences his phone. Chung-suk coughs to cover the sound. She glances over at Da-hae to see if Da-hae heard it too. She did. Da-hae looks around, confused. Kai-woo hurriedly switches his phone to silent mode. Kai-woo and Ki-jung do the same. Da-hae's text messages crowd Kai-woo's screen. SMH, Da-song's crazy rain dance. I hate my brother. Totes saw this coming. Started losing his shit at camp. LMAO. I miss you. Me too. Selfie, please? No. Why not? I'm with you right now. Da-hae continues to exchange cringe-inducing love texts with Kai-woo as she plops down on the sofa. Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung nearly shriek when Da-hae's wriggly feet come within inches of their faces. Meanwhile, Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik give up on Da-song and return to the living room. Chung-suk takes their umbrellas and hands them a couple towels. She nervously looks over at the coffee table. You should go to sleep in the room. We'll stay here with Da-song. You two, stop looking at your phone and go to your room. Without answering, Da-hae gets up and stomps up the stairs, never looking up from her phone. Chung-suk looks back at the living room with a worried face as she goes to the kitchen. Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik sit down on the sofa, now directly facing Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung. Dong-ik presses the button on his walkie-talkie. Into the radio. Dad to Da-song, Dad to Da-song. Currently standing by in the living room. I'll be here all night, so call me if there is an emergency. Copy that. Over and out. Da-song's voice on the radio sounds excited. He got his wish after all. Dong-ik lets out a weak laugh. This is incredible. You don't think the teepee will leak, do you? I bought it directly from an American vendor. I think it should be okay. Your son is quite unpredictable. Never easy, I'll say. Yeon-kyo feels like it's her fault. He's been getting better. Look, signing him up for the Cub Scouts definitely paid off. See how fast he set up that tent? Outside the window, the teepee lights up. Lanterns are lit inside, one after another. It's picturesque. The teepee emitting a pleasant orange glow against the backdrop of beautiful trees, seen through the shimmering veil of pouring rain. Dong-ik turns off the living room light and places a few cushions on Yeon-kyo's side. Let's just sleep here on the sofa tonight. We'll be able to see the tent from here. That sounds good. That way we can keep an eye on Da-song. Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung turn ashen. They're fucked. Dong-ik lies down in the spooning position behind Yeon-kyo. It's quite romantic, both of them in their pajamas, tightly snuggled up on the sofa. Hold on. I know that smell. What? This is Mr. Kim's smell. Mr. Kim, are you sure? Sniffs. I don't know what you're talking about. Dong-ik and Yeon-kyo both sniff the air. Kai-tek becomes nervous. He smells his t-shirt. I guess you don't know. I sit behind him every day, so I know the smell. Like poor people smell? No, it's not that strong. It's more like a subtle aroma that seeps into the air. Like old people smell? No, how should I put it? Maybe the smell of an old radish pickle? Or that smell when you're washing a dirty rag? Kai-tek tries his best to keep a straight face under the table. I mean, I like his driving, and the man never crosses the line. Sometimes he teeters very close, but he never actually crosses it. That's all great, but that smell, it definitely crosses the line. It just creeps into the back seat and surrounds you. You think that's what that song was talking about? It's hard to explain. It smells like when I ride the subway sometimes. I haven't ridden the subway in forever. There's a unique smell that subway commuters have. Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung can do nothing but silently take hit after hit. Kai-tek is completely expressionless. On the sofa, Dong-ik slowly slides up his hand and caresses Yeon-kyo's breast over her pajama top. What are you doing? It feels like we're in the back seat of a car, doesn't it? Dong-ik sounds like a horny high school boy. He puts his hand inside Yeon-kyo's pajama top and continues fondling her. Yeon-kyo looks up at the kitchen and the stairs to make sure no one is watching. She closes her eyes and gives in to the pleasure, moaning. Clockwise. Dong-ik moves his hand as instructed. It starts migrating below Yeon-kyo's navel. Their bodies grow closer. Breathing becomes labored. Do you have a pair of really cheap panties? Cheap panties? Those panties that Yoon left behind. Something like that. Really cheap and tacky. Dong-ik's hand slips inside Yeon-kyo's underwear. He makes it vibrate like a sex toy. Yeon-kyo's lips part from pleasure. She gasps. No, I don't. Something so crude. I must be a pervert. I get hard thinking about those cheap, trashy pair of underpants. Where would I find something so horrendous? Down. Ki-jung tries to keep a cool face as the rich couple continue to malign her underwear. Kai-tek's face is dark. He's more humiliated than she is. Meanwhile, Yeon-kyo is pushing closer towards climax by underpants talk. She bites her lip but is hardly able to suppress her moans. Kai-tek, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung hear everything under the table. A heavy fatigue comes over Kai-tek's face. Time passes slowly. Hiding in the dark kitchen, Chung-suk looks over at the living room where the Parks are now sleeping. She sends a text. They're passed out. Move out one by one. Under the table, Kai-tek receives the text. He signals Ki-jung to go first. She slides out and starts crawling towards the garage stairs. Kai-woo goes next. Once they are safely across, they wait for Kai-tek. Kai-tek is slowly making his way when a strong beam of light suddenly penetrates the living room. A flashlight. Kai-tek quickly flattens himself on the floor. The light searches the living room before settling on Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik on the sofa. The rain is still heavy. We see Da-song poking his head out, shining his flashlight at Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik in the living room. He turns glum when he sees them sleeping. He angrily waves the flashlight, trying to wake them up. Kai-tek curls into a tight ball to avoid the wildly roaming light. He is slowly inching towards the stairs when the walkie-talkie on the coffee table crackles to life. We hear Da-song's voice through the fuzz. Mayday, mayday! Dad, come in! Kai-tek freezes. There's nowhere to hide. He can only close his eyes and hope he doesn't get discovered. Dong-ik wakes up and picks up the walkie-talkie. He looks out the window and sees the flashlight blinking inside the tent. Into the radio. What is it? Is that Da Song? What's going on? Yeon-kyo and Dong-ik are too concerned with Da Song to notice Kai-tak hunched over in the dark, merely a few feet away. I can't go to sleep, over. Dong-ik and Yeon-kyo can't help but laugh. So come inside. Let's all go to sleep in our comfy beds. No. The transmission cuts out. Dong-ik and Yeon-kyo laugh and sigh. Back to the sofa it is. They return to sleep. When all is quiet, Kai-tak starts moving again. Kai-tak flips up the door switch before quickly flipping it back down. The garage door goes up about 1.5 feet before stopping. Ki-jung and Kai-woo hold their breath. Did anyone in the house hear the door? When they don't hear anything, they crawl through the narrow opening and walk out into the rain. Kai-tak presses the down switch and slips through the crack before it completely closes. High on the surveillance camera above the gate, the severed wires dangling below. Rack focused to reveal Kai-tak, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung sneaking out of the house and walking down the empty road. Rain pours as they make their way down the winding road. Kai-tak and the kids trudge silently through the rain. They're walking on the side of the gloomy 4-lane road, no longer in the nice part of town. They don't bother going into a store to buy an umbrella. They don't bother hailing a cab. They just walk, their faces steeped in anguish. We look down on a hillside neighborhood, a different hillside view, working class, illuminated by the lights of low-income apartments, the gates of poverty. Kai-tak, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung stop under an overpass, out of breath. We see them as silhouettes. Panting. So, what do you want to do? What are you talking about? The basement. I tied them up so they can't come out. What are we going to do? Kai-tak is silent. What do we do now? What's the goddamn plan? Kai-tak doesn't have one. Rain drowns the silence. Kai-woo, still in a daze, mumbles to himself. What would Min-hyuk do? Min-hyuk wouldn't have got himself in this mess in the first place. Ki-jung is about to lash out further when Kai-tak calmly steps forward. Calm down, both of you. Ki-jung seethes. We made it out of that house, didn't we? We did. No one else knows about what happened in the house, am I right? Ki-jung nods. As far as I'm concerned, nothing happened in there. Do you understand? Kai-tak sounds like a real father. Firm, reassuring. Ki-jung actually listens to him. I know what I'm doing. Daddy has a plan. So you two just erase everything that happened today from your memory. Kai-woo nods. Okay. Let's go home and wash up. With that, Kai-tak steps back into the rain. Kai-woo and Ki-jung follow. Unsettling music creeps in over the rain. Kai-tak, Kai-woo, and Ki-jung walk through the relentless downpour, passing shabby, low-rent buildings. They hear shouting, sirens in the distance. They turn the corner to see a completely flooded alley. All the roads leading to their apartment are covered in knee-deep water. Total pandemonium. Sewage backflows. A semi-basement resident scoops water out of his apartment with a bucket. Kai-tak stares in horror. He hurries towards the apartment. Kai-woo and Ki-jung splash in after him. Kai-tak has to use great strength to open the door. He steps inside to see brown flood water pouring in through the window. The water is already up to his chest. His foot touches something and he reaches into the dirty water to pick up a live king crab flailing its leg. Kai-tak stares at the crab. It's too surreal. His home has become an underwater habitat. He throws the crab away. His face fills with despair. Meanwhile, Kai-woo crosses towards the window. He tries to close it to stop further flooding when, ow! He feels a shock of electricity as soon as he touches it. He quickly withdraws his hand. Were you shocked? Don't touch it. Don't touch the windows. Just get what you need. Kijung pries the door open and trudges towards the toilet, which is spewing shit water like an Icelandic geyser. Kijung barely closes the lid and climbs on top. She opens a square panel on the ceiling and reaches in to find a pack of cigarettes and a lighter she had hidden there. We see a few folded bills stashed in the cellophane wrap. Kijung lights a cigarette amidst the raging flood. The surging sewage lifts her toilet seat up and down. Kaiwoo is going around, packing a few essentials into a gray bag when something touches his foot in the water. He bends over and reaches into the murky depths, eventually finding the viewing stone that Min-hyuk gave the family as a gift. Kaiwoo pants heavily as he hugs the rock. It's like he has found a precious treasure. Over the image of the stone, veiled by the hazy, undulating water, dark music begins to play. Back in the mansion basement, Kun-se is facing away from Moon Kwang, straining to remove the tape off her mouth with his tied-up hands. Moon Kwang sweats profusely and falls in and out of consciousness. When Kun-se finally rips off the tape, Moon Kwang jumps up and staggers towards the toilet. Kun-se watches in horror as she throws up into the bowl. Through the tape, Moon Kwang! Moon Kwang moans. She's in a lot of pain. She gets up and starts towards Kun-se but loses her balance. Kun-se throws himself to catch her, but she falls flat on the floor. Vomiting is a symptom of... Kun-se screams something to Moon Kwang, but his cries are muffled by the tape on his mouth. They're heard as primal, animalistic grunts. It's supposed to be a symptom of... Kun-se stares helplessly. Honey. Chung-suk. That bitch kicked me in the face. Moon Kwang laughs like her husband, mumbling incoherently. Her voice dwindles. She is near the end. She curls up in the corner next to the toilet. Kun-se shouts through the tape. He wails painfully like a hurt beast. The scream continues over to the semi-basement. The water is now up to Kai-tek's chin. He stands at the entrance and looks back at the apartment like a captain taking one last look at his sinking ship. The water inside has merged with the floodwater on the street and has formed a continuous brown ocean extending through the neighborhood. Unnerving music continues. A dark wave of water rolls over the screen, and we cut to inside the dark mansion's secret room. We find a crazed Kun-se banging on the wall switches with his bloody forehead. His face is a mask of sweat, blood, and snot. We see Moon Kwang's lifeless body on the floor behind him. Kun-se furiously bangs the switches with his head, overcome with pain and sorrow. Da-sung unzips the tent and looks at the living room across the garden. He sees the lights blinking randomly in the front entrance. He starts timing the blinks. He takes out his notebook and starts transcribing them as dots and dashes. He consults the Morse code chart at the back of his Cub Scout book, but can't seem to make out any words. Camera tracks in on the lights as they blink more frantically. Unsettling music reaches a crescendo. Interior of a school gym, evacuation center, early morning. Filled with rows and rows of evacuees from flooded areas, currently sleeping. The lights are off and the gym is illuminated by the faint glow of daybreak. Kai-tek and the kids are among the evacuees. Kijung is completely knocked out. It's been a rough night. Kaiwoo tightly holds the viewing stone as he lies awake. His eyes are bloodshot. Hey, Dad. Hey. So... Kaiwoo looks at Kijung to make sure she is sleeping. Your plan. What is it? What are you talking about? You said you had a plan. What are we going to do? The basement. Kai-tek is silent for a long moment. His face is cold and emotionless. Do you want to know how to make a foolproof plan? How? Don't plan at all. Have no plan. Kaiwoo is confused. If you plan, something will always go wrong. That's life. And then he looks around. Do you think these people got up this morning and said, "Tonight I'm going to sleep on a dirty floor with hundreds of strangers"? But look where they are now. Look where we are. Kaiwu is hardly consoled. That's why you should never plan. If you don't have a plan, you can't fail. You can't do anything wrong. Doesn't matter if you kill someone or commit fucking treason. Nothing fucking matters. You understand? Kaitek talks quietly. There's a hostility in his voice. His face drips with fatigue. Kaiwu is scared. He's never seen his father like this. He hugs the rock more tightly. I'm sorry, Dad. For what? Everything. I'm going to make it right. Stop talking nonsense. He looks at the viewing stone. Why are you hugging that thing? This? Kaiwu looks down at the stone. It wants to be with me. Kaitek looks at Kaiwu. He's acting strange. It's true, it keeps following me. Get some sleep. I knew it was a sign when Minhyuk gave it to me. A symbolic gift. Kaiwu stares blankly ahead. We have no idea what he's thinking. The mansion, living room, morning. Sunlight fills the living room. Yeon-kyo walks up to the window and looks up at the marvelous sky. She sees the tent in the garden. Dong-ik slowly rises from the sofa behind her. Dong-ik walks over to the raindrop-covered teepee and carefully peeks inside. Da-song is finally asleep after the long and eventful night. Dong-ik smiles and gives the okay sign to Yeon-kyo in the living room. Yeon-kyo into the phone. Jessica, sorry to call you so early on a Sunday. Are you free for lunch today? We're planning a surprise party for Da-song. Yeon-kyo is sitting at her vanity, chatting excitedly into her phone. It's on speaker. A groggy Ki-jung answers the phone in the gym. We see rows of people sleeping behind her. You're having a birthday party? Yes, Da-song would be so thrilled to see you there. The food will be amazing. Pasta, gratin, salmon steak. You know I'm an excellent chef, right? You have to come. Sure. You have to be here at 1 o'clock at the latest, and we'll count today as a lesson. You know what I mean? See you very soon. Yeon-kyo lays down a barrage before abruptly hanging up. You see Dahae standing behind Yeon-kyo. She looks over her mom's shoulder with twinkling eyes. Hey Mom, the birthday party. Should I invite Kevin? What an excellent idea. Why not? You call him. I'm on it. Dahae, ecstatic, runs to her room. As she does, we see Dong-ik coming up the stairs behind her. He walks into the master bedroom and throws himself on the bed. He crawls under the covers to go back to sleep. Yeon-kyo calls him from the dressing room. Sleep, sleep. You had a long night. You need some more rest. Thanks. Don't you have to do the rounds? Yep. Wine shop, bakery, florist, grocery store. I'm on top of it. And I already called Mr. Kim and told him to come early. I'm going to pay him extra for today. Perfect. Dong-ik gives a thumbs up with his eyes closed. Yeon-kyo smiles, pleased with Dong-ik's approval. She opens the closet. Evacuees in the school gym surround a pile of second-hand clothes, looking for something salvageable. Donations from a local organization. Ki-jung looks frustrated. She doesn't see anything appropriate for the party. She looks at Kai-tek, who is also frantically digging through the pile with bloodshot eyes. Behind him, Kaiwu is still lying on the floor. He opens his eyes and looks at his phone. 7 missed calls. Dahae. Kaiwu sits up and goes through Dahae's text messages. He puts the viewing stone in the gray bag. Jung-suk busily prepares ingredients for the party. Her eyes are red. She hasn't slept at all. A refreshed Yeon-kyo hops down the stairs and calls Jung-suk out to the living room. She looks out at the sunny garden. I want you to go to the storage basement. We should have about 10 party tables in there. Okay. Let's bring them all out. Clean them so they're bright and shiny. We'll set them up in a semicircle around Da-song's tent. Yeon-kyo tries to show Chung-suk with her hands. No, not quite right. And then, crane formation, you know? The formation that General Yi Sun-shin famously used during the Battle of Hansan Island. Chung-suk's face says, "How the fuck should I know?" She quickly hides her expression. Think of Dasong's tent as a Japanese battleship. We'll surround it in a semicircle, like the wings of a crane, and then the barbecue grill will go next to the tent. Chung-suk struggles to pull out the party tables from the faintly lit basement. She stops to take a breath. A chilling silence envelops the room. Chung-suk looks at the jar cabinet covering the secret door. She can almost hear Moon Kwang and Kunsei's breathing coming from the other side. She stares at the cabinet for a long time. Organic food store, morning. An upscale food market. Organic produce beautifully displayed. Kai-tek is at the register, bagging items as a cashier scans them. Yeon-kyo is next to him talking on the phone. "Ha ha ha, that sounds great. Bring your husband too, and please don't bring any gifts." Yeon-kyo hands the cashier her credit card. "I just want you to come and enjoy the food." It seems like it's going to be a large-scale affair. Kai-tek follows Yeon-kyo out with huge bags of fruits and vegetables. Yeon-kyo's shrill laughter puts Kai-tek on edge. He squints his bloodshot eyes. Yeon-kyo into the phone. "Come, you can take a break from cooking today." "Yes, of course. Daytime is the best time for vino." "Haha. Well, we'd be so grateful if you could sing a song at the party." Now we're inside of a wine shop. "No dress code, it's just a casual affair. You can come in your pajamas if you want." "Please, no gifts. I just want you to come and enjoy. That'll be the best gift for us. You have a Mini Cooper, right? We can squeeze it in next to our car. It'll fit just fine." Yeon-kyo talks into the phone as she walks past fancy vintage wines. She picks several out and gives them to Kai-tek. Kai-tek's face grows dark as he follows Yeon-kyo with the heavy basket. Chung-suk is setting up the tables in the crane formation around the tent. Da-song is still sleeping inside. She is sweating and grunting away by herself when she sees a pajama-clad Dong-ik walking towards the tent. He smiles awkwardly at Chung-suk before checking inside the tent. He turns to Chung-suk and puts a finger on his lips. "Shh. He's still sleeping." Chung-suk nods and proceeds quietly. It's hard to set up the bulky tables without making noise. Dong-ik scratches his belly as he returns to the house. Yeon-kyo is on the phone in the Mercedes. "Did you see the sky today? Crystal clear. Zero air pollution. Rain washed it all away. Of course, camping was a major fail because of the rain, but we get to have a garden party instead. Yay! It was actually a blessing in disguise." Yeon-kyo is jabbering away when she suddenly smells something and holds her nose. Kai-tek's scent must have drifted her way. Kai-tek sees Yeon-kyo covering her nose through the rear-view mirror. It bothers him. Yeon-kyo rolls down the window slightly. "Oh, I almost forgot. Don't bring any presents. You have to promise." The sun shines brightly on the garden. Party guests sit around the tables decorated with flowers. Chung-suk busily shuttles food from the kitchen. Some of the guests have already finished the bottles of wine at their table. People are having a good time. Dahae's room. We see a party downstairs through Dahae's window. Colorful gift boxes are stacked high in front of Da-song's teepee. Kai-woo looks out the window with a blank expression. Dahae stands beside him, staring. "You were somewhere else, weren't you?" "What?" "When we were kissing right now, you were somewhere else, right?" "No." "Stop lying. You're still thinking about someone else." Kai-woo sees the crowd mingling effortlessly in the garden. A kid taking pictures with his Leica. A woman passionately explaining something to other guests with a bottle of wine in her hand. A male guest chopping firewood next to the grill and looking utterly cool doing it. Everyone looks genuinely happy. They're all so gorgeous, even though they had to come at the last minute. So cool and laid back. Dahae looks puzzled. "Dahae?" "Yeah?" Do I look like I belong here? What do you mean? Do I look like I belong in this house? Dahae has no idea why he's asking. Kaiwoo, still numb, pads over to the desk where his bag is. Where are you going? I need to go downstairs. Stay, let's hang out. I need to go down. Those people are boring. Dahae hugs Kaiwoo tightly. Just stay with me. With a grim face, Kaiwoo removes the suisuke from his bag. Whoa, what is that thing? Dong-ik and Kai-tak hide behind the trees where the guests can't see them, dressed as Native Americans. Dong-ik puts feathers and other finishing touches on Kai-tak's costume. I can't believe we're doing this. Look at us, a couple of middle-aged men wearing silly costumes. It's fine. Dong-ik and Kai-tak both laugh awkwardly. Kai-tak looks exhausted. It's been a non-stop shit show since yesterday. The flood, the evacuation center, spending the morning as Yeon-kyo's shopping assistant, and now the elaborate role-playing. He just stands there, limply holding the toy axe. I'm sorry, Mr. Kim. Mrs. Park made me do this. I didn't have a choice. It's really simple. There's going to be a cake ceremony, and Jessica, the art teacher, is going to bring out the cake. She's walking. She's going to present the cake, and then we appear from the trees, swinging our axes, ambushing her because, we're the bad guys. Sure. At that moment, Da Song, the good Indian, attacks us with his axe. A battle ensues, and Da Song heroically saves Miss Jessica and the cake. Everybody applauds. You get the idea. I know, it's ridiculous. Dong-ik laughs again. I guess Mrs. Park enjoys throwing parties. I suppose she does. She put a lot of effort into Da Song's birthday this year. How thoughtful of her, and you too. Dong-ik senses a tone in Kai-tak's voice. What can you do? You love them, right? Kai-tak doesn't hide the sarcasm, and Dong-ik notices. Tension rises between them. Mr. Kim, you're technically working today, aren't you? Yes, sir. Then just think of this as part of the job. Dong-ik avoids Kai-tak's eyes as he puts another feather on Kai-tak's headband. Mr. Park, I think you went over the line. What did you say? No, I mean this. Dong-ik sees that one of the feathers was pushed too far. The tip is poking out from the bottom of the headband. He still can't shake the feeling that Kai-tak was talking about a different line. Kai-tak pushes up the errant feather with his finger. Chung-suk sets up the buffet table according to Yeon-kyo's reference picture. A foreign chef is behind her marinating barbecue meat. When he finishes and takes the meat out into the garden, Ki-jung carefully approaches Chung-suk. Have you been down there? No, I've been busy. Shouldn't we try to talk to them? Try to reach an agreement? I think so too. We all got too emotional yesterday. Ki-jung looks around before saying, I'll go down there and see how they're doing. Chung-suk nods. From under the table, she takes out a large party platter filled with various foods. Here, take this with you. I made it for them just in case. They'll be more willing to talk if their stomachs are full. Ki-jung nods. She takes the platter and adds a few more meatballs from the buffet table. She's about to go down to the basement when she hears Yeon-kyo's high-pitched laughter coming from the living room. Jessica, I was looking for you. What are you doing here? Come out here. Ki-jung slowly puts the platter down behind her. Chung-suk quickly escapes, taking more food out to the garden. Yeon-kyo comes in and pulls Ki-jung out to the living room, where she shows Ki-jung a gourmet cream cake sitting on the coffee table. This cake is very symbolic. It has a therapeutic significance, related to Da Song's trauma. I want you to bring it out, Jessica. It has to be you. It'll be the highlight of the day. As Yeon-kyo and Ki-jung admire the cake, we see Kaiwoo quietly walking down the stairs out of focus in the background. He has the gray bag over his shoulder. He enters the kitchen and walks down to the storage basement. Kaiwoo pushes the jar cabinet to the side, revealing the dark steel door behind it. He unties the tightly wrapped wires, and opens the door. He walks down one step at a time, holding up his cell phone flashlight. The room is pitch black. Once he reaches the bottom of the stairs, Kai-Wu removes the viewing stone from the gray bag. His hands tremble, but he starts breathing faster. With his cell phone flashlight tucked in his breast pocket, he carefully makes his way in, eventually finding a tied-up Moon Quang fallen next to the toilet. Kai-Wu swallows nervously. His legs grow weak and his eyes brim with tears as he slowly walks up to Moon Quang's head. He raises the stone to strike Moon Quang, but he can't do it. He just stands there, face covered in snot and tears, shaking uncontrollably when we notice a circular object floating behind Kai-Wu. A noose. Kunsei has untied his cord and formed a noose with it. He slowly brings it above Kai-Wu's head. Kai-Wu is oblivious. He continues to sob and shudder. He finally feels something behind him and looks up, but too late. Kunsei quickly wraps the noose around Kai-Wu's neck and tightens it. Kai-Wu struggles. The viewing stone drops and hits his foot, which causes him to further lose his balance. He is dragged across the floor by Kunsei. We can only see Kunsei's maniacal eyes in the darkness as he strangles Kai-Wu. Kai-Wu thrashes violently. He can't breathe and his eyes are ready to roll back. Kunsei picks up the viewing stone and raises it to deliver the final blow. He swings it mightily at Kai-Wu's head, but Kai-Wu turns and avoids it at the last minute. Kai-Wu runs up the stairs, cord still dangling from his neck. Kunsei chases Kai-Wu with the stone. Kai-Wu just made it past the jar cabinet when Kunsei grabs the cord, dragging behind Kai-Wu, and pulls it hard. Kai-Wu flies backward into the air and slam! Falls hard on the floor. His wind is knocked out. Kunsei runs up to Kai-Wu. He raises the stone high and brings it down on Kai-Wu's head. We hear a horrifying crunch as we hear applause in the garden. One of the party guests, an opera singer, starts singing an aria. Kijang is holding the cake. Yeon-kyo lights the candles. A thirsty Kunsei gulps down a large bottle of plum extract. He pushes the cabinet back in place and hides the secret doorway. He hears the faint sound of aria coming from above. When he turns, we finally see his face. It's horrible and a little ridiculous. Blood from his forehead has dried into a frightening red mask, but a clear rectangle remains where the tape covered his mouth. Kunsei looks down at his feet where Kai-Wu is lying. Blood is slowly pooling around Kai-Wu's head, pushing out the puddles of plum extract spilled on the floor. Kunsei picks up the viewing stone from the floor and slams Kai-Wu's head again. Kai-Wu's fingers tremble. Is he still conscious, or was that the last flicker of life? Kunsei trudges up the stairs and arrives in the bright kitchen. A surreal juxtaposition. His ghostly blood-smeared mask against the pure white kitchen. Out in the garden he sees, through laughing and applauding party guests, Kijang holding Dasong's birthday cake. Kunsei picks up a large kitchen knife from the sink and walks towards the garden. As soon as he disappears, Dahei comes down the stairs and pokes her head inside the kitchen. Kevin, where are you? Kijang walks down the aisle between the party guests, slowly so the candles don't blow out. An embarrassed but obviously excited Dasong waits in front of the tent. He watches his favorite teacher, Miss Jessica, bringing him the cake when everyone screams. The crowd parts like the Red Sea. Kijang looks back to see Kunsei running towards her with a kitchen knife. Kijang shoves the cake in Kunsei's face just as he swings the knife, but a beat too late as the knife plunges into her chest. Kunsei pulls the knife and blood plumes from Kijang's chest. It sprays over the white cream, covering exactly half of Kunsei's face. When Kijang falls, Dasong sees Kunsei looming over him, dripping with Jessica's blood. The ghost. Dasong screams, a truly horrible scream, louder and 2 octaves higher than the guests. His eyes roll back and he goes into a full-on seizure. We hear Yeon Kyo's scream from somewhere in the crowd. Kunsei pulls up Ki-jung and puts the knife to her throat. He shouts to the guests, "Don't move!" Kai-tek and Dong-ik are running out from the trees when they stop at Kunsei's voice. The chaotically fleeing guests also freeze in their tracks. A tense moment. A white butterfly flies over to Kunsei and flutters its wings above his cake-covered head. "Chung-suk, where are you? Come out, you fucking bitch!" Chung-suk emerges from behind the crowd. Her eyes are set on Ki-jung. "Ki-jung, wake up!" Ki-jung is bleeding profusely. She lets out a weak moan. "Put pressure on the wound, Ki-jung. You have to stop the blood." Chung-suk and Kai-tek are focusing on Ki-jung, while Dong-ik and Yeon-kyo can't look away from Da-song. An agonizing moment for both families. No one moves until Kunsei throws Ki-jung on the ground and makes a dash for Chung-suk. People scream and scatter. Chung-suk turns the grill over, spilling charred meat and firewood over Kunsei. Smoke creates a temporary screen. When Kunsei comes through the smoke, Chung-suk quickly snatches his wrist, pulling him into a vicious fight. Kai-tek heaves his toy axe at Kunsei as he runs towards the fight. It misses Kunsei and instead bounces off Chung-suk's head. Meanwhile, Dong-ik jumps over the wounded Ki-jung and sprints towards Da-song. He picks up the spasming child and runs back through the crowd towards Yeon-kyo. Chung-suk and Kunsei go at each other in the middle of the garden like 2 predators. Kai-tek comes out to help but can't find a way to squeeze between them. He goes to Ki-jung and tries to stanch the blood. It won't stop. He looks for something to tie her with, but there's nothing around. Everyone is busy fleeing and no one stops to help. "Help! Please help us!" Dong-ik gives Da-song to Yeon-kyo, who barks furiously at Kai-tek. "Mr. Kim, get the car! We can't wait for an ambulance! Kim, get the car! 15 minutes!" Dong-ik and Yeon-kyo scream frantically at Kai-tek as he desperately tries to stop the blood from Ki-jung's wound. Yeon-kyo has a crazed look. Her maternal instinct has been kicked up to 11. She doesn't care that Ki-jung is dying or that 2 deranged people are fighting in her garden. Dong-ik can't wait anymore. He yells at Kai-tek, "Keys! Give me the keys!" At that moment, we see the hell breaking loose in the garden in slow motion. Party guests continue to escape one by one until only the little people are left viciously fighting for their lives. Kai-tek's point of view. He sees his daughter's blood dripping between his fingers, his wife flailing under a man with a knife, Dong-ik and Yeon-kyo yelling at him, party guests running away. To add to the list of completely fucked up shit, he sees Dahae walking towards the gate with a bloody and unconscious Kai-woo on her back, bawling her eyes out. Meanwhile, Dong-ik continues to yell at Kai-tek, "The keys!" Kai-tek removes the car keys from his pocket and hastily throws them at Dong-ik. They hit one of the fleeing guests and drop in the grass. Kunsei and Chung-suk roll over the keys as they continue their death match. Kunsei picks up the fallen kitchen knife and stabs Chung-suk in the arm. Chung-suk grabs her arm as she falls into a pile of burning logs behind her. She screams. Kunsei is not done. He climbs on top of her and raises the knife to finish her off. Kai-tek jumps at Kunsei to stop him, but Kunsei is too strong. His rage has endowed him with supernatural strength. He quickly subdues Kai-tek and brings the knife up to stab him. Kai-tek closes his eyes. He braces himself for the final moment when nothing happens. He sees a metal barbecue skewer deeply plunged into Kunsei's waist. Kunsei can't even scream. The pain of the hot skewer piercing his innards is too much. We see Chung-suk holding the other end. In between, we see pieces of meat and sausage smoking on the skewer. As Chung-suk lets go, Kun-se gradually crumbles to the ground. Kai-tek's crazed, red eyes see Dong-ik running towards him. Dong-ik lifts Chung-suk and searches underneath for the car keys. No longer the cool, poised CEO, he's overcome with fear and panic. He rolls over Kun-se and finally locates the keys when he smells something and frowns. It's Kun-se's body odor. He holds his nose at the awful smell. Kai-tek notices. A fleeting moment, but it triggers something inside of him. Kai-tek picks up the toy axe from the ground and stalks Dong-ik. When Dong-ik hears Kai-tek's footsteps and turns around, Kai-tek swings the axe and plants it right between Dong-ik's neck and shoulders. That's when we realize it's not a toy. It's a real axe. The one the cool guy was using to chop firewood for the barbecue. We're not sure if Kai-tek knew it, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is that it's stuck deeply in Dong-ik's neck. Yeon-kyo and the party guests are too stunned to scream. Blood spurts from Dong-ik's neck as he falls in the grass. Kai-tek stares blankly at Dong-ik. He feels something touch his foot and he looks down. It's Da-song's toy axe. The real axe is still in his hands, dripping with Dong-ik's blood. Yeon-kyo faints with Da-song in her arms. Everyone in the garden stops and stares at Kai-tek, the axe murderer, in horror. Kai-tek wakes up from his daze and realizes what he's done. He's horrified. He bolts for the gate. When frightened guests jump out of his way, he realizes that he still has the bloody axe, and he throws it away. Kai-tek is scared. As he runs to the gate, he sees Chung-suk pressing down Ki-jung's chest while fighting through her own pain. The foreign chef is beside her, bandaging her arm. Kun-se, bleeding out from his punctured waist, alone, neglected by the crowd. A few men tried to stanch Dong-ik's blood while calling 911. Woman helping up Yeon-kyo and Da-song. Kai-tek leaves the chaos behind and runs out the gate. As sirens grow louder in the distance, we fade to black. The screen is pitch black. We start hearing faint sounds before slowly fading in on a man staring into the camera. Kai-woo's voice. He was the first person I saw when I woke up a month later. We realize this is Kai-woo's point of view. He narrates in a calm voice. The man has a nondescript face and narrow shoulders. He is talking, but we can't hear anything. A detective, although he didn't look like one. When we focus on the man's mouth, we can sort of read his lips. You have the right to remain silent. The man seems to be reading Kai-woo his Miranda rights. Kai-woo is lying on the bed, his head heavily bandaged. He flashes a languid smile, his eyes droopy. Then I saw a doctor who didn't look like a doctor. He told me one of the side effects of brain surgery was laughing for no reason. A quirky-looking doctor examines Kai-woo's pupils. Everything looks like a dream to Kai-woo, whose left eye is slightly crossed, possibly as a result of nerve damage during surgery. Maybe that's why I laughed when I heard that Ki-jung died. They said she died from loss of blood. Kai-woo chuckles and grabs his stomach as he pushes an IV pole down the hall. The guards look at him strangely. I also laughed when Mom and I received our sentences. We avoided the slew of charges they threw at us. Forgery, home invasion, voluntary manslaughter, which we argued was self-defense, and walked away with probation. Kai-woo can't stop giggling as the judge hands down his sentence. Chung-suk and his lawyer give him a look. Chung-suk and Kai-woo bounce in their seats as the bus speeds away from the city. They look out at the sunny view. Same when I saw Ki-jung again, for the first time since the incident. Countless white urns line the shelves. We see Ki-jung's picture on one of them. I laughed then too. Kai-woo is in front of Ki-jung's urn. He stares at his sister's brightly smiling face in the picture. He smiles back. Chung-suk is sobbing behind him. The picture must be a few years old. Ki-jung is brighter, happier, more innocent. Ki-jung's room in the semi-basement. Everything is just as Ki-jung left it. Chung-suk is on the floor, scrubbing the remaining mud stains off the furniture. The camera soon leaves her and moves to the bathroom, where Kai-woo is sitting on the toilet. He's watching a month-old news clip on his phone. A reporter is in a news studio talking about the Park House incident. The murders, which had no apparent motive and took place in a quiet, upper-class neighborhood, have confounded the police. The other suspect, an unidentified homeless male, was murdered himself at the scene. Further shrouding, Kai-woo flips to another clip. Another reporter appears. The driver, Kim, was known to have a good relationship with his employer Park, and the police have yet to narrow down a concrete motive. Kim's whereabouts are still unclear after he was last seen fleeing the scene, and police continue searching for leads. His cell phone signal was last active at the crime scene. Of course, neither Mom or I have had any contact with you since that day. Kai-woo is going down different apartments, posting promotional flyers, his new job. We see the detective from the hospital following him from afar. The detective is watching Kai-woo from a staircase when he twists his ankle and falls down the steps. Kai-woo sees the detective fall. He feels bad for the guy. I just feel awful for those poor detectives who have to follow us all day. It's winter now. Kai-woo, bundled in a parka, climbs a hill in the middle of Seoul, walking through gray, leafless trees. His breath mists in the air. I did have a strong feeling about where you might be. When he's climbed high enough, Kai-woo plops down on a rock. He removes a large telescope from his bag. So when the season changed, and the news slowed down, and when the detectives finally stopped trailing us, I started climbing the mountain. We see the magnified view of the Park mansion and the garden. You can see the house pretty well from there. Through the living room window, we see a family laughing and talking. Not the Parks, a Caucasian family. From the image of a happy foreign family, dissolved to Kai-woo shivering in the cold, still looking through the telescope. It's dark now. I don't know why, but that day I just felt like staying longer. Telescope point of view. The family members have gone to their rooms to sleep, and the living room is empty. No movement until the motion sensor lights at the entrance start blinking. It blinks at varied intervals, long, then short, long, then short. We see Kai-woo's eyes grow wide through the telescope lens. He studies the timing of the blinks, which don't seem completely random. There is a pattern. Could it be Morse code? Kai-woo starts recording into his cell phone, .. Wind howls as Kai-woo continues to rattle off dots and dashes with a trembling voice. Kai-woo is on the last subway train of the night, listening to the recording he made earlier through his headphones. He uses a permanent marker to transcribe the dots and dashes on a paper prescription bag. When he runs out of room, he writes on his flyers. When he runs out of room there, he starts writing on his jeans. The woman sitting next to him looks at him like he's a crazy person. Kai-woo opens the Morse code chart on his cell phone. He stops the playback. He starts deciphering the codes. Dots and dashes soon become words. The words turn into Kai-tek's voiceover. Dear son, perhaps you, if no one else, will be able to read this letter. We see Kai-tek sitting at a desk in a dark chamber. On the desk is a densely written letter, which he's translating into Morse code. He consults a faded Morse code chart that Kunsei puts up above the desk. You were a Boy Scout, so I'm hoping this will somehow reach you. Kaitek looks thinner and has grown a full beard. He writes thoughtfully, one word at a time. How is your health? Your mother I'm not too worried about. I'm sure she's healthy as an ox. I'm doing well too, although I cry often when I think of Kijung. Images from the fateful day appear in flashes, blood spurting from Kijung's chest, Kunsei's face covered in cake and blood, the axe silently coming down on Dong Ik's shoulder. Kaitek's hand gripping the bloody axe. I still can't believe what happened that day. It almost feels like a dream. Then we switch to Kaitek's running point of view, people screaming and running away, the gate approaching ahead. I knew as soon as I ran out of that gate where I had to go. Slow motion of Kaitek running down the stairs in front of the gate. He sees the front of a Mini Cooper jutting out of the half-open garage. They were able to squeeze the car in, but not fully able to close the door. Kaitek ducks through the opening and enters the garage. A few party guests roam the street in panic, but they're too stricken with terror to notice him. Only the non-functional surveillance camera looks down at Kaitek as he slips through the door. Kaitek pokes his head out from the garage stairs and looks inside the living room. It's empty. Through the window he sees terrified party guests stampeding towards the sound of an ambulance. Holding his shoes in his hand, Kaitek quickly crosses to the kitchen and rushes down to the storage basement. Even in the complete madness, I had the foresight to grab some water and food. Kaitek picks up a box of canned tuna and a box of Evian. He takes care to avoid the blood and plum extract on the floor as he walks across the basement. He pushes the jar cabinet to the side and opens the steel door behind it. He steps inside and closes the door. As he turns the crank handle and seals himself inside the darkness, fade to black. When we fade back in, we see an emptied-out mansion lit only by moonlight. The Parks have moved out. I realized only later that a house with such a morbid history would not be appealing to potential buyers. I would have to stay in an empty house for a long time. We go from room to room until we arrive in the secret room. Kaitek picks at the can of tuna using Kunsei's fork. He eats one tiny piece at a time, conserving what limited food he has. All the while he stares across the room where, in the darkness, Moon Kwang is curled up next to the toilet. One good thing about being alone was that I was finally able to give her a proper funeral. Moon Kwang's hefty body is thrown into a dirt hole. We see Kaitek panting at the mouth of the hole, exhausted from moving her all the way from the basement. The hole is dug in front of a large tree. One scoop at a time, dirt is scattered over Moon Kwang's face. Kaitek stops shoveling and takes a break. He leans on the tree and looks up at the stars twinkling above. Tree burials are all the rage these days, so I guess no one can say I didn't give her a proper farewell. Kaitek is sitting with his eyes closed in front of Dong Ik's picture that Kunsei put up on her wall, head bowed, penitent, a bit comical, but he doesn't care. He continues to solemnly pay his respects when he hears a faint sound coming from above. He walks up the stairs and puts his ear on the steel door. He hears a lively chatter on the other side. Someone's come to see the house, and they speak German. The real estate agents were smarter than I thought. They somehow managed to sell the house to a family that had just moved to Korea. It's dark and everyone is still asleep in the early morning, except Kaitek, who walks up to the kitchen and quietly crawls over to the refrigerator. we see a family portrait hanging on the kitchen wall. A German family of 4, white teeth shining brightly through their broad smiles. There are more pictures on the refrigerator. One picture shows a Filipino maid with her arms around the family's kids. The parents both work, and the kids are at school most of the day, which should have made them ideal housemates for me. But unfortunately, they have a live-in maid, and I risk my life every night for the tiny window of opportunity I have to venture outside. Kaitek carefully opens the fridge, and a cool shaft of light hits his face. Inside we see tofu, sausage, Korean gochujang paste, Japanese natto beans. Luckily, Germans don't only eat German food. I thought I would have to eat sausage and beer for the rest of my life. Kaitek takes a little of each food and puts them in Kunsei's old plastic container. Through his peripheral vision, he sees something moving in the garden. Kaitek nearly jumps out of his skin. He quickly turns only to realize it was his own reflection in the living room window. He stares at the pale ghost for a long moment. Kaitek eats tofu in the dark corner. Above the long beard, we see his dull, soulless eyes. When you're in here, you lose your sense of reality. Kaitek lies motionless on Kunsei's cot. His breathing is so faint, we almost can't tell he's alive. But today was a good day. I wrote this letter to you. Kaitek gets up and walks over to the light switches. Looking at his Morse code converted letter, he starts turning the switches on and off. As he sends his coded messages to the outside world, we very slowly fade to black. Take care, son. Kaiwu runs as fast as he can through the alley, chest bursting with excitement. His breath creates a trail of mist as he passes the lights of nearby semi-basement apartments. An out-of-breath Kaiwu runs into the apartment and immediately picks up a used piece of paper. He doesn't even bother to take his coat off. He sits at the kitchen table and starts writing furiously. As the camera tracks in, quickly moving his hand, begins sentimental music. We move in on Kaiwu's sleeping face. He looks happy. Tightly held in his hands is the letter he just wrote. His eyelids flutter lightly. He must be dreaming. We hear Kaiwu's voice reading the letter. Father, today I made a plan. We witness the moment when the viewing stone was first discovered. A pair of hands pick up the rock from a beautiful, pristine stream. A long-term plan. Kaiwu walks up the hill of a wealthy neighborhood. He's older, dressed in a nice suit and tie. I'm going to make a lot of money. Kaiwu is at the mansion. The same one that at different points belonged to the Parks, the German family, and Namjong Hyunja. He walks up to the gate with a few real estate agents. First, I'll need to go to college, and then I'll get a job and get married, but ultimately, I want to get rich. A female real estate agent shows Kaiwu the garden. Kaiwu stands in the sunlight and looks up at the majestic trees. When I get rich, I will buy this house. As professional movers carry boxes into the house, 2 people step into the living room, Kaiwu and Chung-suk. Outside the window, we see a woman and a girl, Kaiwu's wife and daughter, playing in the garden. We'll pick a sunny day to move in. Everything has to be unpacked and put in place. The movers leave, and only Kaiwu and his family remain. They are enjoying the sun at the patio table. Kaiwu turns towards the house. Then, all you have to do is walk up the stairs. He's looking at the kitchen. Late afternoon rays lean into it at a low angle. We hear footsteps coming from the basement stairs. Camera moves in and we see a faint glimpse of someone coming up the stairs. Kaitek? Come out, Dad. Then at last, Kaitek walks out into the bright garden. Buckets of sunlight wash away years of darkness. He hugs his family, an emotional reunion. as sentimental music swells into a climax. Cold, windy, on the hill. Late evening. The sun is dropping fast. Kaiwoo's on the mountain again, looking through the telescope. He puts it down and looks into the distance. But I have a problem, Father. I have no idea how to get this letter to you. We see the park mansion far away, surrounded by countless other mansions. Lights turn on and off across the neighborhood. It's as if the houses are trying to talk to us. Kaiwoo's nose is bright red from the cold. His eyes brim with tears. Sharp wind cuts up his breath as soon as it mists in the air. As the wind continues to howl, fade to black. Music plays, bright, but with an undertone of hopelessness. The end. Just a quick note here at the end of the video. If you made it to the end, comment below. And if you want to know when I make new movie readings, and there will be more coming, please subscribe and hit the bell, because if you don't hit the bell, YouTube won't let you know when I release new videos. See you in the next one, guys. Cheers.